This page is the vibrant cover of Beep! Powerful Mega Magazine, dated January 1992. The main feature highlighted is the launch of the Sega Mega CD, posing the question, "The world expands with music," and promises a complete report just before release. Appendices include a special poster for the Mega CD title Nostalgia 1907, and a strategy guide covering Undead Line, known internationally as Deathbringer, and Double Dragon 2. The cover features lively, cartoonish characters surrounding a large Mega CD text, visually emphasizing the new hardware. The magazine also teases a Mega Hot Menu news special insert, mentioning games like Golden Axe 2, Quackshot starring Donald Duck, Shining Force, Fighting Masters, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2, Taiheki, and Sorcerer Kingdom. The Mega CD press section lists several upcoming or recently released Mega CD titles such as Solfease, Rise of the Dragon, Nostalgia 1907, Heavy Nova, Eye of the Beholder, Valis, Cosmic Fantasy, Lunar, Far East of Eden, and Woodstock Phantasy Story. Finally, featured games include Shining Force and Chibi Maruko-chan Waku Waku Shopping.
This cover clearly sets the stage for Sega's big push into Clee-Drom gaming.
This page showcases Sega's exciting December Mega Drive lineup, heralded as the strongest cleanup of software. Headlining is Golden Axe 2, the highly anticipated sequel. It promises a dramatically powered-up super action experience, keeping the core gameplay, but enhancing magic and special attacks. Artwork features the iconic heroes, Axe Battler, Tyrus Flare, and Gilius Thunderhead, ready for battle in screenshots.
It was scheduled for release on December 27th.
Next up is Ninja Burai Densetsu, a Sengoku-era RPG simulation where the goal is to defeat the demon-transformed Oda Nobunaga. The game features depth with 3D animated combat and realistic sampled voices, highlighted by character artwork and gameplay screenshots. This title was released on December 6th. Finally, the Mega Drive brings the popular NHK Taiga drama, Taiheki, to life as a battle simulation game. Based on the historical chronicle, it features various military commanders clashing in tactical battles. The page displays striking calligraphy for the title and screenshots of the strategic map and battle scenes, alongside an image of the Mega Drive console itself. Taiheki was scheduled for release on December 13th. The page emphasizes that it's packed full of interesting game software, fitting the festive season depicted by the Santa Claus illustration. This page unwraps Sega's Game Gear lineup for the holiday season, framed by a festive Santa Claus illustration hinting at the gifts inside. Leading the charge is a portable version of the iconic 3D rail shooter, Space Harrier. This adaptation for the Game Gear promises to bring the intense, high-speed arcade action, even adding original enemy types to keep things fresh. It's set for release on December 28th, priced at 3,500 yen.
Next up is the Blue Blur himself, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Bursting from the Mega Drive, this portable version of Sonic promises blistering speed and spin attack action. The screenshots show familiar zones and enemies, including Drive, Eggman. It poses the question to the player, can you keep up with Sonic's speed? This title is also slated for a December 28th release, priced at 3,800 yen. The page also features an image of the Game Gear console itself, listing its price at 19,800 yen, positioning these games as must-have titles for the handheld system's growing library. It's clear Sega was pushing strong software across both its platforms for the end-of-year rush. This page features Sega's lineup of Disney titles arriving for the 1991 holiday season, promising fun game software for Christmas. Highlighted on the Mega Drive is Quackshot starring Donald Duck.
This action-adventure title sees Donald embark on a global treasure hunt, starting with a mysterious map.
Players will guide Donald, equipped with his trusty plunger gun, through various challenging stages across the world, encountering famous Disney characters and uncovering hidden secrets. The game launched on December 20th, priced at 4,800 yen.
Screenshots show diverse locations and gameplay elements. For the Game Gear, the page presents the Lucky Dime Caper, starring Donald Duck. In this adventure, Donald must rescue Huey, Dewey, and Louie, who have been kidnapped, and retrieve Scrooge McDuck's stolen Lucky Dime. Players will control Donald as he battles formidable foes on his journey to save his nephews and restore Scrooge's prized possession. This action platformer also released on December 20th, available for 3,800 yen. Gameplay snippets showcase Donald in action against various enemies. Both titles leverage the popularity of Disney characters, offering distinct adventures on Sega's home console and handheld system just in time for the festive period.
This page advertises the Sega Winter Campaign featuring Sonic the Hedgehog and offering various prizes including cash, a special watch, and a game rack through a lottery for console purchasers. This page showcases the MegaDrive, a unique hybrid computer system developed jointly by Sega and IBM Japan. It boasts high-resolution 640 by 480 VGA graphics and features dual CPUs, an 80,286 and a 68,000, allowing it to run both IBM PC software, including DOS Versus and Windows 3.0, and Sega Mega Drive games. The advertisement highlights its future performance and the ability to enjoy a wide range of software. Featured is the VGA version of the adventure game Heart of China, an American bestseller known for its 256-colored digitized graphics and immersive MIDI sound. The page also lists stores across Japan where this innovative system could be purchased, detailing different models and their prices. This page introduces Narrated, a new online network specifically for MegaDrive users, offering access to information and a platform for user interaction. The visual centerpiece is the EGA version of the adventure game Heart of China, showing a different, lower-resolution pixel art style compared to the VGA version highlighted previously. The page also previews several other software titles available for the system, demonstrating its versatility beyond just games. These include puzzle construction for creating custom puzzle games, the adult-themed Penthouse Electric Jigsaw, the classic LucasArts adventure Loom, the early 3D graphical RPG Draken, a utility software called Page Pros for design tasks, the quirky adventure game Manhole, Sierra's well-known adventure series Leisure Suit Larry, noted for VGA and MIDI support, and the flight simulator F-29 Retaliator. It's clear the MegaDrive aimed to bridge the gap between PC and console gaming, offering a diverse software library covering various genres and applications. The page concludes with lists of retail locations across Japan where the system could be purchased, and contact information for support. This page features previews for two exciting titles from Wolf Team coming to the Mega CD. First up is the classic X68000 shooter, Solfis, making a complete to the Mega CD. This side-view space shooter features detailed, multi-jointed enemy characters and includes a gorgeous original prologue sequence. Below that is FHEY Area, a dramatic fantasy RPG marking its debut on the platform. The text highlights the game's dynamic battles with monsters that enlarge and shrink, creating powerful combat scenes set against a backdrop of sudden environmental changes. Both games are showcased with character artwork, game logos, and in-game screenshots demonstrating their respective genres. The page also features the Wolf Team logo and the Mega CD logo, clearly indicating these are upcoming releases for Sega's CredROM add-on. This page highlights Ernest Evans, a non-stop hard action game making its way to the Mega CD from Wolf Team. The game promises super real action scenes featuring multi-jointed characters, taking full advantage of the Mega CD's large capacity. The page displays a striking illustration of the protagonist, along with screenshots showing off the intense side-scrolling gameplay. A remarkable aspect is the talented team behind the visuals and sound, including animation production by the famous studio Madhouse, voice acting by well-known talents like Kazuki Yao, Judao Ashita from Mobile Suit Gundam ZZ, and Yuko Minaguchi, Yawara Inokuma from Yawara, and music composed by the celebrated Motoi Sakuraba. Ernest Evans was set for release on December 20th. This page showcases a lineup of racing titles from Varies Corporation, heavily featuring the supervision of former Fine 1 driver Satoru Nakajima. Headlining is Fine 1 Grand Prix, Varies' first foray onto the Mega Drive, released December 20th for 7,800 yen. This 8-megabit title promises intense top-down scrolling racing action under Nakajima's guidance, with screenshots depicting the overhead view. The page also highlights two Game Boy titles. F1 Hero GB World Championship 91, another Nakajima-supervised title, released December 27th for 3,500 yen, boasts 16 courses and innovative features like a back mirror display, supporting up to 4 players. Additionally, a racing simulation based on the popular anime Future GPX Cyber Formula is coming to the Game Boy in late February 1992, bringing futuristic racing to the portable console. Rounding out the feature is a re-release of the Famicom title F1 Hero 2 on January 10, 1992. priced at 5,900 yen, which offers a different perspective on racing. The overall focus is on realistic and exciting racing simulations, developed with expert oversight. This page presents an on-site report from the Vantan Computer Information Academy, focusing on their game software creator training program. It features an assault report look into the school environment, highlighting the facilities and practical learning approach, including hands-on programming using NEC PC 9801 computers. Brief interviews with students offer insights into their motivations for pursuing game creation. The page also introduces key instructors, including one with a background in art, CAG, and light art, and another who is an industry professional and author on game theory, emphasizing the blend of technical, artistic, and business knowledge taught. Finally, information is provided on upcoming admissions events, such as consultations, information sessions, and mock exams, for prospective students interested in the world of game development. This page showcases the upcoming Mega CD title, Lunar, the Silver Star. The prominent artwork features the main cast of characters, along with a large, imposing machine or figure in the background, and a depiction of the moon. It's presented within an elaborate, decorative frame. The text below highlights key features of the game for the Mega CD. It emphasizes the strengths of the CD format, including large data capacity, high-quality sound, and impressive visuals, all utilized to create a dramatic RPG experience. It mentions a true battle system and 3D fader battles, where unique monsters roam freely across the battlefield. The credits section lists key staff members involved in the project. Character design is attributed to Toshiyuki Kubuka, music to Noriyuki Iwadare, and demonstration original art to Toshiyuki Kubuka again, noting the highly talented team behind the game. The standard price is listed as 7,800 yen, excluding tax, and it is advertised as coming soon. This is clearly promoting one of the most highly anticipated RPGs for the platform at the time, promising a cinematic and visually rich adventure. This page showcases the upcoming Mega CD strategy game, Tenkafubu, Roar of the Heroes. The page features a large, dramatic illustration depicting several key figures from Japan's Sengoku period, with Oda Nobunaga likely central, set against a backdrop of cavalry and battle. The text below highlights the game's features that utilize the Mega CD's capabilities. It boasts an extensive roster of 1,200 historical military commanders, each with unique character graphics and family crests. The game includes live-action opening and ending sequences produced using GameArt's technology, and leverages the CD format's large capacity for detailed visuals and high-quality audio for the game's music. Developed by GameArts, the title is listed for an upcoming release at a standard price of 7,800 yen, excluding tax, emphasizing a rich, multimedia-enhanced historical strategy experience. This page features two action-packed games for the Mega Drive. At the top we have Fighting Masters, a fighting game featuring 12 unique characters, each with their own battle style. The game boasts diverse techniques and movements, environmental interactions using walls and obstacles, a giant final boss, and supports two-player versus mode. It is currently available for 6,800 yen. Below that is Task Force Harrier X, a port of the popular arcade shooting game. This version for the Mega Drive adds an original final stage to the 12 impressive stages from the arcade, offering a powered-up and distinct experience. Task Force Harrier X is scheduled for release on December 20th for 8,500 yen. Screenshots for both games are displayed, showcasing the action. This page features striking promotional artwork from Treco for two action-packed Mega Drive titles, Fighting Masters and Task Force Harrier X. The page highlights the diverse cast of fighters from Fighting Masters alongside the intense aerial combat of Task Force Harrier X, presented under the tagline, 200%. This page introduces the concept of Mega CD novellas, games designed to provide a cinematic experience surpassing traditional gaming. The spotlight is on Nausea 1907, the inaugural title in the Sur de Wave mystery series. Featured prominently is striking artwork depicting a mysterious woman and a dramatic scene involving a ship, framed as if viewed through a porthole. The game is praised for its splendid sound and refined visuals, unfolding through dialogue-driven drama with skillful psychological portrayal and thrilling moments. It's described as an intelligent, talked-about mystery drama that pursues uncompromising realism and beauty, aiming to captivate the new generation of adventure gamers. Nulzia 1907 is scheduled for release on the Mega CD in early December, with an estimated price of 7,200 yen, and will include the original soundtrack on CD. A version is already available for PC 9801 and X68000 systems. Small screenshots at the bottom provide a glimpse of the game's visual style during development. This page features a special promotion from Koei for their 1991 Games Software Fair. They are offering a "That's Koei" original calendar as a thank you gift to the first 200,000 customers who purchase any Koei game software across various platforms, including PC, NES, Super NES, Genesis, and Game Boy. The calendar is described as a collection of illustrations featuring heroes like Nobunaga and Napoleon, drawn by Yoshinori Kanamori, and includes 12 previously unreleased images. The offer runs from December 21st until supplies last. The page also includes a brief section advertising full-time employee recruitment for various positions, including designers and engineers, reflecting Koei's involvement in multiple fields beyond games. This page features an advertisement for Koei's historical strategy game, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2. The main visual is a dramatic image showing three figures in ancient Chinese attire, set against the game's title rendered in large red brushstrokes, highlighting the two. The advertisement promotes the game's availability on multiple platforms, including Super Famicom, and announces the upcoming release of the Mega Drive version on December 26th. Details for each version are provided, including room size, features like battery backup, and price. The page also showcases screenshots depicting strategic gameplay, character portraits, and battle sequences. Additionally, a guidebook and a game soundtrack CD are advertised for separate purchase. This page features a large advertisement for Koei's historical simulation game, Nobunaga's Ambition, Sengoku Gunyuden. The central image is a dramatic depiction of a figure in samurai attire, likely Oda Nobunaga, against a fiery backdrop, with the bold red title text towering above. The ad highlights the simultaneous release of the game on December 21st, across 3 platforms: Super Famicom, and Mega Drive, listing the game's features such as battery backup saves. Images of the game boxes and screenshots are shown, illustrating the strategic map view and character portraits typical of the series. A separate soundware CD featuring the game's music is also advertised. Like the previous page, this emphasizes Koei's strong presence in the multi-platform strategy genre. This page is the cover of the inaugural issue of Das vs. Magazine, presented as the third new publication from '91. The cover features a dramatic backdrop of a lightning strike over a landscape. Prominently displayed is the magazine's title, along with the release date of the first issue, December 7th. Text indicates it's a high-quality PC utilization magazine that aims to transcend hardware limitations. Further details mention it will be released monthly on the 8th, is an A4 size with 160 pages, and has a tentative price of 780 yen. It is published by SoftBank Publishing Division. This page features the Game Gear title, Frey Practice Arc. It showcases the protagonist, Frey, in a vibrant illustration. This is an action game, based on the popular PC version, where the story follows the young girl Frey as she undergoes rigorous training at a magic school to gain the magic power needed to rescue her beloved Ratok. The page highlights the game's features, including comical characters with humorous movements, big stages offering varied environments like mountains and valleys, and colorful, powerful magic attacks that fill the screen. The game was scheduled for release on December 20th as a Sega Game Gear software title. It is published by Microcabin Corporation and is licensed by Sega. This page showcases the Sega Mega Drive tennis game, Grand Slam, the Tennis Tournament 92, developed by Telenet Japan. The vibrant artwork depicts a victorious tennis player celebrating in front of a cheering crowd, conveying the excitement of the sport. The game features several modes, including Versus mode for head-to-head matches, Tournament mode, which includes the 4 major world tournaments, Player mode, allowing for the creation of original players, and Practice mode to hone skills. It is noted as being a 4 megabit cartridge room with a price of 6,800 yen and was scheduled for a March release. The tagline emphasizes standing at the pinnacle of history and tradition after intense battles. This page features the comical action game Valis SD from Lasersoft and Telenet Japan. the same company behind the tennis game on the previous page. The artwork showcases the familiar Valis protagonist, Yuko Asou, in a super deformed, school uniform style within a circle. The game is described as a fun and humorous action experience where the cool Yuko transforms into a cute warrior. Below the title logo, illustrations show various strange and comical enemies and bosses from the game world. The text emphasizes the lighthearted and enjoyable nature of this comedic take on the Valis series. This page showcases the upcoming RPG Sorcerer's Kingdom from Messiah/NCS. The imagery features an erupting volcano and a desolate landscape, setting a dramatic tone for adventure. The accompanying text introduces the game's premise, a world where peace is threatened by increasingly powerful monsters. It focuses on a young boy named Kanan, the son of a renowned adventurer, who is eagerly awaiting his 16th birthday to embark on his own quest to become an adventurer and eventually surpass his father. It sounds like a classic fantasy RPG adventure is on the horizon. This page serves as the back cover or a follow-up piece for the upcoming fantasy RPG, Sorcerer's Kingdom. The striking top image depicts a volcanic landscape under a fiery sky, setting a dramatic tone for the adventure. Below the game's title, presented on a weathered scroll, the text highlights key aspects of the game. It emphasizes beautiful graphics pushing the Mega Drive's capabilities, a flexible scenario structure enabled by multi-quests, and tactical battles incorporating simulation elements. The game also features a unique analog growth system, offering incremental character progression distinct from traditional experience point grinding. Slated for release on January 31, 1992, priced at 8,800 yen before tax, the game will arrive on an 8 Mega ROM cartridge with battery backup for saving progress. The screenshots showcase various game screens, including explorations in a castle interior and on a world map, as well as a character status display showing party members and statistics. It appears to be a deep and promising RPG experience for the console. This page presents a striking visual advertisement or announcement for the Sega Mega Drive game Bad Omen. The dramatic artwork depicts a dark, stormy scene with a large, luminous blue planet dominating the upper background, surrounded by scattered asteroids. In the foreground, a pale figure of a woman clings precariously to a broken, metallic structure adorned with glowing red orbs, set against a tumultuous sky rent by lightning. Another similar structure with blue orbs is partially seen on the right. The title logo, Bad Omen, is prominently displayed at the bottom, alongside its Japanese katakana rendering. The Sega Mega Drive logo is visible, confirming the platform for this intense-looking action or shooter title. This page provides a more detailed look at the game featured on the previous page, known internationally as Devilish, titled Bad Omen in Japan. The stunning artwork continues the theme of the previous page, depicting a figure struggling on a broken structure with a luminous blue orb, set against a stormy sky with a castle in the distance. The text describes Devilish as a block shooting game that scrolls both vertically and horizontally, featuring beautiful graphics and realistic sound. It highlights key gameplay mechanics, including 3 types of changing paddle formations, and a tense game progression driven by a stock and time system. Players can enjoy the game in 3 ways: a relaxed single-player mode, a single-player time trial, or a 2-player cooperative mode. Adding to the replayability, the game features multiple endings that change depending on the difficulty level. The page includes 2 small screenshots showing the gameplay interface with blocks, score, and the paddle. It confirms the game was scheduled for release in March 1992, with an estimated price of 6,800 yen, and is published by HOTB. Devilish is a classic block-breaking title, with unique mechanics like controlling multiple paddles and navigating scrolling levels, making it stand out in the genre. This page highlights 2 recent arcade releases ported to Sega consoles by Kaneko: The Berlin Wall, known internationally as Crackdown, and Quiz World. Crackdown is presented as a 2 Mega ROM title for the Game Gear, currently available for 3,800 yen. The artwork captures the frantic wall-breaking action with its distinctive cast of characters. This port brings the arcade's puzzle action gameplay, involving stage clearing and simultaneous 2-player mode, to handheld players. Screenshots showcase the game's familiar top-down view and bomb planting mechanics. Also featured is Quiz World for the Mega Drive, a 4-mega room title slated for release at the end of January 1992, with a price tag of 6,600 yen. The artwork features a mischievous dinosaur character, often seen in Kaneko's arcade puzzle series. While titled Quiz World, screenshots confirm it's a blend of quiz and puzzle action gameplay, likely in a format similar to titles like Ishidantra.
And it also supports simultaneous two-player fun, just like its arcade counterpart. The page also promotes a giveaway, where buying the game could win you a piece of the real Berlin Wall.
This page features a preview of Magical Silky Lip, an upcoming youth adventure game for the Mega CD published by Riot, a brand of Telenet Japan. The main visual shows the titular heroine, Silky Lip, a magical girl with green pigtails, along with the game's logo. The game is described as an adventure, where Silky Lip descends to the human world to protect people from magic-using criminals and various obstacles. Screenshots display the game's top-down field view, which aims to recreate real locations and buildings. The estimated price is 7,400 yen, excluding tax, with a release planned for next spring. A brief staff comment from the planner/original writer mentions reflecting on previous works and incorporating new elements into this title. This page delves into Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GP2, the highly anticipated sequel to the popular racing simulation on the Mega Drive. The main highlight is the direct involvement of Formula 1 champion Ayrton Senna himself, who collaborated on the game's development and even designed original courses featured in the game. The article previews the updated title, confirming modes like the full Grand Prix season and a free practice mode for learning tracks. It notes options for automatic or manual transmission, with varying gear counts. Screenshots show glimpses of the gameplay and menu options, including modes like Senna GP and the World Championship. The piece also includes a wish list from the reviewer, hoping for improvements over the original, such as better balance between different cars, more challenging AI when leading, enhanced pit stop strategies, and deeper configuration options to make the simulation more realistic. Finally, a brief note touches upon Senna's real-life third World Championship victory, reinforcing his status as a dominant force in F1. This page features an announcement and promotion for the Mega Drive RPG, Minato no Treasure. The main focus is a striking, multi-part illustration that serves as the game's visual representation. The artwork depicts 3 distinct scenes: a group of adventurers braving a snowy mountain landscape, a vibrant and crowded marketplace, and a solitary figure overlooking a sea, with a mysterious portrait of a woman floating above. Flanking the central artwork are columns of text, likely providing narrative flavor and setting the mood for the game's story. Below the illustration, the page confirms the game is an RPG, describing it as a romantic and adventurous RPG story. It lists the price as 8,900 yen, excluding tax, and a scheduled release date of February 1992. Credits for the illustration go to Mahiro Maeda, and the story to Neko. The game is published by Nippon Telenet under their Riot label. This page effectively introduces players to the world and atmosphere of Minato no Treasure, through its detailed and evocative artwork and brief descriptive text. This page delves into the world of Formula 1 racing with Formula 1 Grand Prix for the Sega Mega Drive, featuring supervision by Japanese Formula 1 driver Satoru Nakajima. The article focuses on the game's depth, highlighting 2 main modes, Grand Prix mode and Spot mode. In Grand Prix mode, the path to success starts with a test run. Achieving a good time is crucial to secure a contract with a better team, though each team has performance norms you must meet or risk being dropped. The core gameplay involves free practice, qualifying, and the race itself, where you can adjust car settings. The article stresses the difficulty and importance of car setup, covering aspects like wing, tires, suspension, engine, handling, and brakes, each with multiple levels of adjustment. Finding the right balance for technical courses versus speed circuits is key to performance. For players who want to race immediately without the full team management commitment, Spot mode allows you to pick any course and car, such as a McLaren or Ferrari, offering a more direct racing experience. Screenshots illustrate the game's perspective view during races, a pit stop scene, and the detailed car setting menus. The article notes that while Nakajima has retired from F1, he lives on in the game he supervised. The reviewer emphasizes that settings are quite difficult to master, but essential for achieving good results. This page features 2 exciting titles from Telenet Japan's Riot brand campaign for the Sega Mega Drive. On the left we see El Viento, known in Japan as. The artwork features the protagonist, Annette,
depicted as a schoolgirl, hinting at the blend of ordinary life and extraordinary events as described by the accompanying text and the tagline, "Emotion once again." This is an action game, set for release on December 20th. The right side presents Exile, or this is a popular ARPG series, and this is the Mega Drive version. The art shows key characters like Karn/Sadler and provides a glimpse into the game's fantasy setting, involving knights and significant quests. The text highlights its ARPG nature and confirms it was already released and highly praised at the time, including a battery backup for saving progress. Both titles, part of Telenet's Riot campaign, signal a push by the developer to bring notable experiences to the Mega Drive platform. This page dives into the high-speed world of F1 Circus MD for the Mega Drive. Building upon the PC Engine hit F1 Circus 91, this game promises intense F1 battles, emphasizing the sheer speed and the unique perspective of racing at over 300 kilometers per hour. The reviewer highlights the incredibly fast scrolling speed, which they feel effectively captures the different dimension world of F1 racing, making it a truly immersive experience despite the top-down view. This game is described as being perfect for racing maniacs who crave the thrill of controlling a car at the limit of human dynamic vision. Players can jump into various modes, including a world championship spanning 15 races, where becoming champion is the ultimate goal. There are also practice modes like free run-to-learn circuits and fine-tuned car settings, which include adjusting wings, suspension, and tires. Beyond the racing, the game features a career progression element. Starting with a team, your performance can attract offers from better teams mid-season, stressing the importance of machine power and strategic upgrades, including new engines. The page also includes a historical note on the legendary real-life Team Lotus, highlighting its past glory and connection to famous drivers like Jim Clark, Senna, and Mansell, adding a touch of real-world F1 context. The screenshots showcase the top-down racing perspective, the starting grid lineup, car setup options, and character portraits related to team management and driver progression. This page shifts focus to cosmic fantasy stories for the Mega CD, showcasing dynamic artwork featuring the main cast including protagonists Yu, Nian, and their quirky animal companions. The tagline prominently declares, "We will protect the peace of the galaxy," setting the stage for an epic space adventure. It's announced as a special report on the Mega CD version, highlighting enhanced presentation over previous installments. The text promises the addition of original opening visuals and significantly powered-up, powerful animation sequences, leveraging the Kleindrom format's capabilities. Gameplay is hinted at with action keywords like run, jump, shoot, suggesting a blend of action and RPG elements characteristic of the series. Developed by Telenet Japan's Riot brand, the game was scheduled for release in February 1992. This suggests the Mega CD port aimed to deliver the familiar characters and story with a significant visual upgrade. This page dives into Valis, the classic action platformer series developed by Telenet Japan's Riot brand, also featured on the previous page with cosmic fantasy stories. This particular release for the Mega Drive is a port of the very first Valis game, bringing the origin story of Yuko Asou to the console. While it adapts the initial narrative, the gameplay system draws heavily from the later Valis 2i, offering character stat gauges, weapon and magic switching, and even the ability to absorb magic from defeated bosses. This blend provides a familiar feel for players of the third installment while telling the foundational story. Leveraging an 8 megabit cartridge, the game includes numerous visual scenes, key to understanding the plot, especially since Valis 2I was released first on the Mega Drive without the context of the earlier games. Gameplay features 5 distinct weapon types, including the standard bullet, piercing laser and arrows, the returning cutter, and the powerful grenade. Each weapon can be powered up by collecting items, adding depth to the combat. The page shows screenshots of protagonist Yuko in action, the magic selection menu, and glimpses of the detailed visual scenes and character art that flesh out the game's fantasy world, and characters like Raiko and the Dark King Roggles. This page showcases Deathbringer, a large-scale fantasy RPG from Telenet Japan's Riot brand for the Mega Drive CD. The artwork features a menacing, dark-armored figure wielding a large axe, likely the titular Deathbringer, set against a fiery, ruined landscape.
The text highlights the game's rich backstory, detailing an ancient war where divine power was sealed away and entrusted to humanity. It emphasizes the superscale nature of the game and its RPG genre, suggesting a deep narrative experience. Originally scheduled for a March 1992 release, at 7,400 yen, excluding tax, the release date was updated to September 1992. As part of promoting their new identity, Telenet's Riot brand is running a campaign offering original phone cards to customers who collect points from purchasing their games. This page dives into the world of Valis 2i, focusing on the bosses standing between the heroine Yuko and the main antagonist, Rogals. The primary goal is to defeat Rogals, who has sealed the power of light into phantasm jewelry and entrusted it to his 5 evil gods. Yuko must battle these gods to reclaim the jewelry and gain the power needed to face Rogals. The page highlights the 5 evil gods. Gaida, the earth evil god who uses ground attacks like earthquake. Giva, the water evil god, an airborne foe with ice attacks. Benon, the flame evil god who is adept with fire and has a strong defensive flame ring. Izzard, the wind evil god who utilizes tornadoes and boomerangs and can become invincible. And Voldef, the thunder evil god, a fast 2-headed dragon with unavoidable thunder attacks. Beyond the 5 evil gods, the page also details Raiko, a human warrior who is Yuko's friend but serves Rogals as his final subordinate. She is described as a tough opponent who uses the powerful Death Flash attack. Defeating these bosses is crucial for Yuko to acquire the necessary power from the scattered jewelry and continue her fight to save both realms. This page features the game's Stormlord, showcasing striking artwork of the titular hero, a warrior clad in armor and cape, wielding a glowing lightning-infused sword. He stands ready for action against a dark, atmospheric background. The page promotes Stormlord as an action game brought to the Mega Drive by Microworld. The accompanying text highlights the game as a riveting strategic experience with dazzling graphics and awesome sound effects. It emphasizes that this U.S. software sensation has finally arrived in Japan. This page features the second part of an interview with Kazuhiro Koshiki, the creator of the Cosmic Fantasy series. The page includes a portrait of Koshiki, artwork featuring characters from Cosmic Fantasy, and details about the upcoming Mega CD release. Koshiki discusses his long history in gaming, starting with early PC titles like the PC 6001 and Nobunaga's Ambition. He touches on his preference for action and shooting games, noting he isn't particularly skilled at RPGs despite creating one. He expresses admiration for adventure games of the era, like ET and Esoft's Star Cruiser, and mentions recently getting a Mega Drive and playing Sonic the Hedgehog. Koshiki also talks about the distinctive art style of Cosmic Fantasy, its reception, and the challenges of producing the anime sequences for the game, many of which he drew himself. A side panel highlights the upcoming Mega CD version of Cosmic Fantasy Stories, which combines the first 2 games in the series with enhanced visuals and sound. Another panel announces a present, a signed illustration from Koshiki, which readers could enter to win. This page showcases the Game Gear title Buster Ball, a futuristic battle-action sports game from Riverhill Soft. The page features dynamic artwork depicting futuristic vehicles engaged in intense competition, set against a backdrop of glowing arenas. The game is described as an ultimate combat sport, where players maneuver Mega Buster vehicles through fields filled with obstacles like mines and electromagnetic barriers, aiming to shoot towards the goal. The screenshots provide a top-down view of the gameplay, showing the vehicles in action on a grid-like arena. Key features highlighted include simple rules accessible to anyone, short match times perfect for quick play, and various unexpected elements to keep the gameplay exciting. Players can freely customize settings such as teams, fields, time, and modes. The game supports both single-player and 2-player simultaneous battles, making it ideal for competing with friends. Buster Ball was scheduled for release on March 20, 1992, with a provisional price of 3,800 yen. This page serves as the table of contents for the January 1992 issue of BeepMD, outlining the exciting lineup of articles and features within. It prominently highlights the new software scramble, covering a range of hot new releases including Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GP2, Shadow of the Beast, Elysia Dragoon, Joe Montana, 2 Sports Talk Football, 2 Crude Dudes, and Tecmo World Cup Soccer 92. A B Mega Hot Menu section previews upcoming titles like Shining Force. A significant feature focuses on the launch of the Mega CD, exploring how it expands the world of music in games and introducing new titles such as Ernest Evans, Solfeis, and Lunar. The magazine also includes a separate appendix with complete strategy guides for Undead Line and Double Dragon 2. Other sections cover reader contributions, industry news, various game-related columns, and specific guides. On the left side, 2 screenshots are featured, depicting scenes from what appears to be a role-playing or adventure game, hinting at a detailed look at that title within the issue. This page presents the latest sales data from shops for both the Mega Drive and Game Gear systems. The main focus is the Mega Drive Top 10, analyzing the current market trends. Notably, several new releases have entered the charts, pushing some previous hits down. Wonder Boy and Monster World debuts at number 1, a strong showing for this highly anticipated action RPG. Sonic the Hedgehog, previously at the top, remains a strong seller at number 2. Devil's Crush also makes a solid entry at number 3, proving that quality pinball can find an audience. Other notable titles in the top 10 include Mercs and the Spider-Man game. The commentary suggests the market is lively with new releases and is looking forward to the impact of the upcoming Mega CD launch. Below the Mega Drive list is the Game Gear shop data, highlighting the top 5 best-selling games for the handheld. This ranking includes titles like the strategy game Taisenigata de Senso G and the classic shooter Galaga 91, which enters the chart as a new release. Super Monaco GP also features in the top 5, showing its continued popularity. This page presents user desires for game ports and the latest arcade hits based on shop data. The upper section details the results of a poll asking users which games they most want to see ported to the Mega Drive. The demand is high for arcade and console classics, with Street Fighter II topping the list. Other highly requested titles include Silent Mobius, Princess Maker, The Record of Lodos War Series, and Cotton, indicating interest across diverse genres like adventure, simulation, RPG, and shooting. Notable entries further down the list include SimCity, the Final Fantasy series, the Dragon Quest series, Wizardry, Gradius, and Night Striker. There are screenshots previewing games like Chernov Atomic Tank, The King of Dragons, and Gradius. A small news blurb celebrates Vic Takai joining the ranks of Mega Drive developers. Below, the shop data section reveals the current top-selling arcade games. This ranking highlights games popular in Japanese arcades at the time. Leading this list is Bomberman, followed closely by Starblade and Super World Stadium. Street Fighter II also features, demonstrating its widespread popularity in the arcade scene, while Thunder Dragon rounds out the top 5. Screenshots are provided for Bomberman and Thunder Dragon, with commentary noting Thunder Dragon is the latest in its series. The page reflects a blend of anticipation for future ports and appreciation for the current arcade landscape. This page dives into the most anticipated upcoming titles for the Mega Drive based on user feedback. Titled Long-Awaited New Games Top 20, it highlights the buzz around software slated for release. Leading the pack at number 1 is Lunar, the silver star for Sega CD, scoring 175 points. Described as the potential flagship title for the new hardware, its appealing characters are a key draw. Coming in second is 3x3 Eyes with 92 points, garnering high anticipation despite not much being revealed about the full game scope yet. Remaining Force secures the third spot with 72 points, praised for its diverse cast of characters, from cute allies to strange enemies. Golden Axe 2 takes fourth with 60 points. While the core gameplay is familiar, the enhanced visual presentation and exhilarating special moves are noted improvements. Rounding out the top 5 is Super Fantasy Zone at number 5, scoring 35 points, marking the return of Opa Nopa with new weapons and unique bosses. The page also lists games ranked from 6 to 20, including notable titles like Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2, Nobunaga's Ambition, Quackshot starring Donald Duck, The Treasure, and Ernest Evans, showcasing a wide range of genres from RPGs and strategy to action and simulation. The ranking is compiled from reader surveys and the magazine's editorial team. This page presents the new software schedule for both the Mega Drive and Game Gear. Large tables detail upcoming releases, listing game titles, anticipated release dates, prices, and technical data or publisher information. While some solid dates are provided, many exciting titles are still listed with a to-be-determined status, reflecting the dynamic nature of game development schedules. In the editorial check, the team notes the recent surge in activity from various publishers, including Namco and Data East, which seems to put to rest earlier rumors about their commitment. Data East, specifically, has a new game out but appears to have more Mega Drive projects in the works. There's also anticipation for a shooting game remake from Nihon Busan, planned for next summer. The editorial expresses hope that the Mega CD platform will also see increased activity in the near future. This schedule features many titles players are looking forward to, including some previously highlighted like Golden Axe 2, Shining Force, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2, Quackshot, and the Mega CD title Lunar, the Silver Star. The Softmaker information section highlights updates from various developers for the Mega Drive and Game Gear. Sega announces the Mega CD launch with Wakusei Woodstock Funky Horror Band and future titles. Riot Nihon Telenet addresses a hardware issue. Pulsoft anticipates Undeadline and a soccer game. Koei offers strategy tips for their titles. IGS releases Dan Hagane, Birth of the Goddess, and Very releases Nakajima Satoru F1 Grand Prix on December 20th. Treco focuses on Fighting Masters and Task Force Harrier X.
Wolf Team previews Solfis and sends season's greetings. Surewave plans more software.
Micronet recommends Heavy Nova. Namco describes Chibi Maruko-chan. Microcabin promotes Frei Shura Hen on Game Gear with future Mega Drive titles planned. Evie. Sims announces Heavyweight Champ for Game Gear, including a communication feature, and mentions Alien Syndrome and Tecmo World Cup 92 in development. This page features the B Mega Reader Race Volume 10, a reader-driven ranking and review corner for Mega Drive software. Readers rate games out of 10, and the average scores are published. It's presented like a race, with games ranked by their average score. While the full ranking table lists many titles, the spotlight falls on several notable games this issue. Devil Crush MD, a fantastic pinball game, holds the 6th spot, praised for its graphics and animation, though one reviewer noted difficulty picking up the ball. Uchu Senkan Gamora, a shooter, sits at 20th, described as playable despite balance concerns, with mixed reviews on graphics and music, and mentions of slowdown with power-ups. New entries highlighted include Mercs, known as Senju no Ukami 2 in Japan, at 33rd, an action game enjoyed for its satisfying gameplay despite a reviewer's confusing comment about two-player mode. Rent a Hero, an RPG, enters at 39th, appreciated for its unique concept and relatable characters. Finally, Ghostbusters appears at 91 stone, liked for its horror atmosphere but criticized for useless items and maps. The overall ranking commentary notes the strong performance of new entries like Devil Crush MD. The B Mega Reader Race continues, presenting reader-ranked games. Single Hole Horse highlights QX, Volfeed, for its addictive gameplay despite control issues and lack of two-player. Decap Attack, though stylish and cheap, suffers from repetitive maps. Reviews revisit previous rankings, criticizing Burning Force's collision and arcade porting, and Twin Hawk's simple gameplay and weak audio. Super Thunderblade, Super Airwolf, debuts at 83rd, praised for air/ground combat but criticized for difficult ground missions. Alex Kidd, in the Enchanted Castle, is unfavorably compared to its predecessor. The rankings, from 45th to 91 stone, are detailed, with Odds Table B commenting on the middle ranks. The Owner's Voice section offers varied reader feedback, including gameplay suggestions and personal experiences. This page continues the B Mega Reader Race, showing the rankings from 92 through 138. The feature analyzes the Sega Mega Drive's game library by genre based on reader scores, highlighting simulation and racing games as favored genres where the system excels, while puzzle games are less popular with players. It also mentions the significant growth in the simulation genre over the past year. The magazine runs 2 prediction contests. One to predict the final ranking of Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2, and another to predict the average score, odds, for the upcoming game Fantasia, offering prizes for accurate predictions. Readers are encouraged to participate in the race itself, with prizes including the Tetris plus Rambo 2i cartridge. The editorial comments note little major movement at the top, but highlight interest in games like Rent a Hero, and mention upcoming releases like Wonder Boy in Monster World. The lower ranks see drops for titles like Super Thunderblade and Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle. This page features a column from Jam Ojizan, diving into the world of the TV game industry. He discusses the highly anticipated Mega CD for Mega Drive users. The column focuses on the Mega Drive's performance, particularly highlighting its significant activity in the US market, the world's largest game market. It notes that the Mega Drive is competing strongly against the Super NES there. Jam Ojisan mentions that Sonic the Hedgehog was a huge hit, contributing to the Mega Drive's success due to its simple controls, fast speed, and dynamic presentation. He then contrasts this with the Japanese market, observing that the Super NES still dominates, and the general sentiment among users and retailers hasn't shifted significantly, despite the Mega Drive's success elsewhere. Looking ahead, he expresses anticipation for the Mega CD, and mentions that several software developers like GameArts, Wolf Team, and Sega Falcom are participating, showing ambition and strong staff ready to challenge the market with this new platform. The page also includes a pie chart showing the game machine ownership breakdown among readers and images of the Super NES and the Mega Drive with the Mega CD. This page dives deeper into the potential of the Mega CD, featuring an interview with Yoshio Kiya from Nihon Falcom. Known for classic RPGs like the Dragon Slayer series, Kiya discusses the process of porting PC games to consoles like the Mega CD. He emphasizes preserving the original spirit of the game rather than just putting a frame around PC graphics, advocating for utilizing the console hardware's capabilities fully. He touches upon the challenges, especially the large capacity of the Klydrom, and humorously notes his surprise at the Mega KD's CPU setup, but expresses optimism about its potential for complex games. The page also includes a sample RPG status screen, likely from a Falcom title being considered or worked on for the platform, showing character stats for figures named Sirios, Ryunin, Ro, and Gale. Additionally, there's a note about Sega Falcom expanding their reach by participating in the F3 racing series with a sponsored car, showcasing their ambition beyond the gaming world. Finally, a side panel promotes a gift campaign for a 1992 desktop calendar featuring Falcom characters. This page introduces the SF Hotline, a new reader corner designed to connect readers directly with Sega and Falcom, acting as a pipeline for feedback, questions, and game ideas. The section highlights a poll on which Falcom PC games readers most want to see ported to the Mega CD. The top requested title is, surprisingly, YSI&2, followed by Sorcerian and Brandish. Other popular requests include Lord Monarch, Xanadu I&2, Dinosaur, Demon's Ring, and the Legend of Heroes series. This section notes the unexpected result of YSI&2 leading, given its existing PC Engine CD-ROM release, but emphasizes the strong demand for these classic RPGs on Sega's platform. Reader letters share specific hopes, like a faithful port of YSI&2 with excellent music quality, and even a suggestion to reimagine the YS series as a side-scrolling action game. The page concludes with a call for more reader submissions and illustrations for future columns. This page features the BeepMD reader letter section, with this month's discussion focusing on the Game Gear under the title, Go Go Game Gear. Readers share their thoughts and concerns about Sega's handheld. The general sentiment is a mix of interest and hesitation, largely due to the perceived lack of compelling software. Several letters express a desire for the Game Gear, but find the current game library uninspiring, citing high prices and a lack of unique titles. Some question ports of games like Space Harrier, Super Monaco GP, and Columns, wondering about their appeal on the handheld, especially for those who own the Mega Drive versions. Suggestions are made to port more overseas Master System games like Golden Axe, or to have maintained Master System compatibility. One reader proposes the concept of a Sega Gear navigation system, leveraging the system's portability. Another suggests the magazine initiate a Game Gear-specific reader poll to drum up interest. A separate section titled, Mega CD software should be like this touches upon the Mega CD gaining attention as new hardware but expresses disappointment in the current software lineup, feeling it lacks truly compelling titles unique to the system. This page is the BeepMD reader section, featuring letters and fan art from readers. One letter praises the Mega Drive game Rental Hero, highlighting its strong character development and black humor, recommending it especially to RPG fans. Conversely, a reader criticizes the Mega Drive version of Spider-Man, finding its graphics poor and gameplay frustrating. A review of Magical Taruto-kun on the Game Gear expresses disappointment with the simple gameplay and lack of graphical improvement from other versions. Advanced Daisen Ryaku is discussed, with one reviewer finding only the graphics satisfactory. The music from Yu Yu Hakusho is noted, with a specific track compared to Lily Marlene. The page also showcases reader illustrations featuring characters from games such as Dark Wizard, I Love Donald Duck, Golden Axe, Sonic the Hedgehog, Spiritual Warfare, Bonanza Bros, and Cotton. A question is answered about a new backup system, explaining it saves data directly to ROM, preventing battery-related data loss but with capacity limitations compared to traditional battery backup. This page is another installment of the BeepMD Reader section, featuring direct feedback to the industry. Readers voice their opinions and desires for the Sega Genesis and Sega CD. Many expressed disappointment with early Sega CD titles, feeling they prioritize impressive graphics and sound over substantial gameplay content. A criticism echoed from the previous page's discussions about PC Engine CD-ROM Squared. There's a strong call for more content-rich games, including simulations and ports of classics like Namco's Star Luster. Readers lament the lack of support from major third-party developers, such as Konami and Irem on the Genesis. The concept of a game library system is also discussed, potentially allowing access to a wider range of titles. The page also features a time trial live coverage section, showcasing a competition, possibly for the racing game Faststone. It lists the current top 3 times as of November 28th, highlighting the impressive speeds achieved by players like Takashi Miyazaki and Tetsuo Hayashida. The section includes a photo of Human Queen Mina-chan, who appears to be involved in the event's qualifying stages. A small section at the bottom contains reader gripes, including a complaint directed at developer Micronet, and disappointment regarding the lack of games like Caesar's Ambition 2 on the platform, alongside concerns about developers like Wolf Team. This BeepMD section features reader feedback on various game details. Fans point out similarities between character art in Tenka Fubu and a Gakken history book, attributed to shared art sources. Another reader identifies real-world locations in Rent-A-Hero, mirroring areas near Sega's offices. Visual observations include the castle in Wonder Boy in Monster World, which readers compare to Neuschwanstein Castle and other historical game art. The magazine acknowledges these observations and awards a prize for the jigsaw puzzle connection. The section demonstrates the reader's keen eye for detail, passion for the Genesis, and their active engagement with the games and the magazine. The next page kicks off with a brief apologies section for the December issue, correcting a couple of errors. First up, the release date for Exile was changed from December 9th to December 6th. Second, they had the price wrong for F1 Grand Prix on page 46, listing it as 7,200 yen, when it should have been 7,800 yen. I'd appreciate them setting the record straight. Up top, there's the MD Kun Theater, a fun 4-panel manga featuring the Mega Drive mascot. One strip shows MD Kun arriving in Japan from overseas, referencing the console's release journey. The main focus continues the BeepMD reader submission area from the previous page. They lay out the different categories where fans can submit their thoughts. You can rant about games, share opinions for the industry bigwigs, point out interesting details you found in games, ask questions about the Mega Drive or specific companies, complain about games that ticked you off, or even send in illustrations of MD Kun. Finally, there's an announcement section listing the winners of various prizes from the November issue's giveaways for games like Spider-Man, Devil Crush, YS2I, Wonder Boy in Monster World 2, Ninja Gaiden, Galahad 91, and 3x3 Eyes. This page is an advertisement for a specialty shop focusing on overseas games and hardware. It showcases a wide selection of import titles and systems not commonly found in Japan at the time. The shop features software for Genesis, Overseas Master System, NES, Overseas Game Boy, TurboGrafx 16, and Lynx 2, highlighting the availability of rare games and arcade ports. They also sell arcade game boards for classic titles like Zero Wing, Thunder Force AC, and Golden Axe, allowing players to experience them at home. Furthermore, they offer revolutionary low prices on Amiga and CD-TV systems, including starter kits with software. The store provides warranties and a mail-order service with lists available upon request. This page is an advertisement for Santa, a specialty shop entirely dedicated to Sega products in Tokyo. They are showcasing various Sega consoles like the Game Gear and Mega Drive, listing prices for the hardware and accessories. The store highlights their top 3 recommended games for the month: Golden Axe 2, Double Dragon 2, and Donald Duck. They also feature upcoming new releases available for pre-order at special Santa prices, including Double Dragon 2, Golden Axe 2, Nobunaga's Ambition, Donald Duck, and F1 Circus MD. Reservations for upcoming Mega CD titles are also being accepted. The ad emphasizes competitive pricing and their mail-order service. This page is an advertisement for Daiichi Trading, an import specialty shop located in the Akihabara area of Tokyo, offering games and hardware via mail order. They cover a wide range of systems including NES, Genesis, Game Boy, TurboGrafx-16, Super NES, and Lynx. The ad lists various games available for each platform, such as Mega Man 3 and Battletoads for NES, Streets of Rage and Fatal Labyrinth for Genesis, Paperboy and Castlevania 2, Belmont's Revenge for Game Boy, Bonk's Revenge and Valis 2 for TurboGrafx-16 Candelas, and Home Alone for Super NES. Prices are listed next to each game, and they mention that prices include tax and shipping. A large section promotes the Atari Lynx handheld console, highlighting its small size and power-saving features, priced at 21,000 yen. They also stock Lynx software. Another prominent ad is for the Game Genie cheat device, priced at 15,000 yen. The ad also mentions they carry the multi-game doctor accessory and offer a free full-color price list covering games for Amiga, IBM, Mac, Com, and Atari computers. The bottom section features a slogan about enjoying both Famicom and Mega Drive games via import adapters. This ad is essentially a large price list for import games and hardware. This page presents a comprehensive mail-order catalog from Hop Inc., showcasing a wide array of games and hardware available for purchase across numerous systems. As an expert who's seen it all on the Mega Drive and beyond, this kind of multi-platform listing was standard practice for Japanese retailers at the time. The list covers major consoles including the Super Famicom, SNES, Mega Drive, Genesis, PC Engine, TurboGrafx-16, NES, Game Boy, Game Gear, and even the high-end Neo Geo. Each section provides a list of titles with both their original retail price and the mail-order price offered by Hop Inc. For the Mega Drive, you can find classics like Golden Axe 2, the strategic depth of Shining Force and Langrisser, and the fast-paced action of Herzog Zwei listed among many others. It's cool to see them group several games together at discounted price points, like various Mega Drive and Sega CD titles, available for 2,900 yen or 1,900 yen each. Beyond the games, the page includes details on how to place an order, primarily via telephone to check availability and price, followed by sending payment through the mail. They clearly state that all prices include tax, they only sell new items, and that prices are subject to market fluctuations and items may sell out. It's a straightforward retail list, offering a snapshot of the available games across the Japanese market at the time. This page kicks off the Hot Menu Special Part 1, featuring the latest games arriving on the Mega Drive. The main focus here is Quackshot starring Donald Duck, which is presented as a big introduction following up from coverage last month. As an expert, I know this action game puts you in the shoes of adventurer Donald Duck, armed with his trusty plunger gun, embarking on a global treasure hunt. The feature includes a large illustration of Donald with Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and Gyro Gearloose, setting the scene for the adventure. The story summary explains how Donald finds a treasure map in Scrooge McDuck's library and sets off with his nephews, only to be pursued by the notorious Pete's gang. Small screenshots provide a glimpse of the in-game action and story moments. The article notes that while it might look simple, the game has some challenging parts, suggesting players prepare for a solid platforming experience. Release details are also included, noting it's a Sega title released in Japan on December 20th for 4,800 yen. The sidebar also lists other upcoming features, including Golden Axe 2, Fighting Masters, and Task Force/Harrier X, giving a taste of what's to come in this special section. It's clear the magazine is highlighting a variety of exciting new releases. This page continues the in-depth look at Quackshot starring Donald Duck, providing essential tips for tackling the game. It breaks down the key strategies into 6 points across 3 major areas. First, it emphasizes mastering Donald's movements, highlighting the importance of precise jumps, using slides in tight spaces, and utilizing features like zip lines for tricky navigation, as seen in the screenshots. Next, the guide details Donald's arsenal, explaining how to effectively use the 3 main types of plungers. The standard plunger allows for vertical movement by sticking to walls, while the red plunger is crucial for destroying obstacles and enemies. For temporarily stopping foes, the bubblegum bullet is the weapon of choice. The third section stresses the critical role of collecting items throughout the stages, to make clearing the game easier. It provides a breakdown of some vital items. Ice cream for a small life recovery, meat for a full health boost, and eating 5 chili peppers granting a temporary period of invincibility due to their extreme spiciness. Finally, a suggested route for the first half of the game is outlined, guiding players through the America, Mexico, and Transylvania levels leading up to Dracula's castle, noting specific challenges like platforming precision and finding hidden items like the 1-up. It reinforces that careful progression through each area is necessary.
Overall, the page serves as a quick reference guide to gameplay mechanics, items, and early level progression.
This page continues the detailed guide for Quackshot starring Donald Duck, covering crucial gameplay elements, enemies, and boss strategies. It emphasizes the sheer number of traps found throughout the stages and the necessity of learning from mistakes to advance. Various enemies, including Pete's gang and other unique foes, challenge Donald, though most can be handled with effective use of his plungers. The powerful boss Dracula is featured, described as a tough opponent who is only vulnerable when his cape is open. The guide advises using the plunger on walls to reach him when he flies to higher positions. Key items are also highlighted, including the corn, representing the basic plunger, bubblegum bullets for stunning, 1-ups for extra lives, and money bags for boosting scores. A suggested progression path is shown, guiding players through the America and Mexico stages to collect essential items like the red plunger and bubblegum before the final confrontation with Dracula in Transylvania. This page continues the in-depth guide for Quackshot starring Donald Duck, taking players to new environments. It covers the Egypt stage, describing the classic Arabic music and the primary hazard, quicksand, which acts much like the quicksand encountered in Mexico, but spans longer distances and can hide enemies. Careful movement is essential to avoid being swallowed up. The guide then moves to the icy plains of Antarctica, highlighting the slippery footing as a major challenge that can easily lead to mistakes. It warns of bomb-dropping birds and penguins that attack by sliding, recommending evasive jumps. The page also features a Q&A section addressing common player difficulties, advising players looking for extra lives to revisit the early Transylvania area for a reliable 1-up spot. For those running low on bubblegum ammo, it confirms that clearing the American stage will grant a fresh supply of 50 shots. This page continues the in-depth guide for Quackshot starring Donald Duck, diving into more exotic locations. First up is the Viking ship stage, which is split into 2 distinct areas, the deck and the mast/ropes. On the deck, watch out for rotten floorboards and the Viking gang, including archers. Climbing the mast involves moving platforms and ropes. Once you clear both sections, an old man appears who is troubled. Apparently, if you help him retrieve his ship from ghosts, he'll reward you with an ancient document. Next, we arrive at the Maharaja's domain. Despite a playful hint about a disco, this level is set in a grand palace area, featuring sections reminiscent of a desert rally. Be cautious of quicksand, which is present here too. A unique hazard are the snake charmers. Getting hit by their musical notes will paralyze Donald, leaving him vulnerable to attacks from their snakes. The page also details a challenge from the Maharaja himself. He's made a wager that if Donald can defeat the tiger in his garden, he'll be given the Sphinx's tears. The guide notes the excitement of the bet, but questions the actual purpose of this mysterious item. The final screenshot shows Donald battling a large, green, bouncy enemy with an exclamation that sounds like surprise or pain, perhaps a reaction to the enemy's attack. The next page dives deeper into the Maharaja's Palace stage in Quackshot starring Donald Duck, highlighting its challenging maze-like structure. Titled, Maharaja's Palace, Donald lost in the maze. Quote, the guide emphasizes that navigating this level requires understanding that doors are the only way to move between the 6 distinct rooms, and many doors are one-way, acting either as entrances or exits. The page provides a visual diagram showing 4 of these rooms, rooms 1, 2, 3, and 4, and illustrates the complex connections between their various doors, revealing how they link to other rooms, including ones not pictured, rooms 5 and 6. Some doors are explicitly marked as inaccessible. A helpful tip is included on how to handle the snake charmer enemies, advising 3 hits with Donald's plunger weapon to stop them, and suggesting jumping to avoid their paralyzing musical notes. A specific shortest route through the maze is also detailed for those seeking a direct path. The next page continues the guide for the challenging Maharaja's Palace in Quackshot starring Donald Duck, encouraging players to navigate the maze without relying solely on a map. It reiterates the importance of using Donald's plunger for basic movement, and highlights the need to carefully observe the room layouts and connections, stressing that jumping over unwanted doors is key to avoiding backtracking. The guide then details rooms 5 and 6 of the Palace Maze, illustrating the connections between areas like 5A, 5C, and 5D, and the paths leading towards the final areas. It points out inaccessible rooms like 5B and 6A, guiding players towards the boss. A crucial tip, labeled Feast Time, advises players that exploring the maze might cost them health, but certain rooms contain hidden meat items that appear when sliding, offering a chance to heal up before facing the boss. Finally, the page provides a strategy for the boss, a fiery tiger. The tiger jumps between 4 positions, spitting flames. The safest spot is the center, where you can avoid the attack by crouching, but you cannot attack from there. To defeat the tiger, you must wait for it to move, then quickly stand up on the opposite side, hit it once with the plunger, and immediately return to the safe center spot. Patience is essential for this fight. Screenshots illustrate the tiger's attack and Donald's strategy. This page continues the adventure in Quackshot starring Donald Duck, moving on from the Maharaja's Palace to the challenging Egyptian pyramid. Having obtained the Sphinx's tear, players can now enter this vast area, which is divided into multiple maps. The guide warns that whether it's a king's curse or not, the pyramid is incredibly difficult and requires serious learning. Sections detail treacherous areas within the pyramid. One highlights moving walls that must be navigated quickly, using Donald's plunger gun. Another focuses on dangerous footing, where blocks collapse the moment you step on them, stressing the need for precise and timely jumps. A third area demands constant forward movement, using the dash button to outrun a wall of chasing fire, noting that sliding through requires rapid button presses. The guide concludes by describing a particularly suspicious small room that traps the player by closing a wall behind them, followed by a terrifying falling ceiling. The text expresses the difficulty and puts the onus on the player to survive this great pinch for Donald. This page dives into Golden Axe 2, focusing on the challenges awaiting players in the middle stages. The game features 3 heroes battling evil with sword and magic against enemies significantly powered up compared to the earlier levels. The preview details the progression, starting from the ruined village in Stage 1, where players face the Minotaur boss, known for its powerful Morningstar and dash attack. Stage 2 takes the heroes to ruined frontline bases, introducing more numerous and varied enemies, culminating in a fight against the Headless Knight, who employs diverse attacks beyond simple strikes. Stage 3, set on ruins atop a cliff, ramps up the difficulty considerably. Enemies from previous stages reappear, but much stronger. You'll encounter 2 Minotaurs as mid-bosses, and the main boss battle features a daunting 4 lizardmen, noted for their superior strength, attack power, speed, and even a tail attack, surpassing the difficulty of the Headless Knight. Tricky areas like a bridge, where a single wrong step is fatal, and being immediately surrounded by powerful enemies at the stage start, highlight the increased challenge. The page emphasizes that the enemy's strength and coordinated attacks are impressive, making Golden Axe 2 a formidable experience. The game was scheduled for release on December 27th. This page continues the look at Golden Axe 2, offering strategic tips for overcoming the challenges. It focuses on Stage 3, suggesting players utilize the cliff edges to easily defeat enemies by throwing them off. For the formidable bosses, the key strategy highlighted is to first weaken them using magic, which is essential given their high speed and attack power. The page also breaks down the unique special moves for the 3 heroes. Egg Axe Battler's move involves a jump and backward sword swing, noted as slow and less reliable. Tyrese Flare has a kick attack, described as decent but potentially leaving her exposed. Gilia's Thunderhead's spinning axe move is recommended as the most effective for clearing surrounding foes due to its wide reach and low risk. This page continues the guide for Golden Axe 2, focusing on Stage 4, known as the Dragon's Throat. This fiery lava zone is filled with threats. As warned, corpses lying on the ground will often revive, adding to the swarm of skeletons you'll face. A notable challenge is encountering what was the Stage 3 boss now as a common enemy. The main boss for this stage is a red Minotaur, significantly more powerful than the one from Stage 1. It's even joined by a powered-up lizard man. The advice is to weaken the boss with magic first, a consistent strategy for tough foes. The page also highlights specific dangerous common enemies. The melee-focused Long Moan, the fast skeleton, the magic-using magician who drops magic books when defeated, and the lizard man, noted for high health, attack, and speed. Facing multiple reviving enemies can quickly overwhelm you if not handled carefully. This page continues the guide for Golden Axe 2's Challenging Stage 4. It provides a key tactic for defeating the bosses, recommending a strategy where you draw them towards the center of the screen and repeatedly hit them with body blows or tackles. This approach is highlighted as a reliable, albeit time-consuming, way to manage the fight and avoid taking significant damage compared to direct combat. Below the stage guide is a detailed look at the game's rideable beasts, presented as a riding animal encyclopedia. 3 types are showcased. First, the popular A-type, a green lizard, often called a chicken leg by players. It's frequently encountered and, once its rider is defeated, becomes mountable. Its powerful kick attack is highly effective against weaker enemies. Quote, next is the B-type, a purplish or red beast resembling a triceratops. It walks on 2 legs and attacks with a splitting tail whip. The guide advises mounting it quickly, as it will flee if left idle. Its tail attack is noted for its speed and utility when surrounded. Quote, finally, the rare elect type, a red dragon, which is a variant of the A-type, appearing only a few times in the game. It stands out by attacking with powerful fire breath instead of kicks. However, it lacks the ability to perform continuous attacks, requiring careful timing from the player to avoid enemy hits. Its fire breath is described as the strongest attack among the 3 mounts. This page introduces the fighting game, Fighting Masters. It's presented as a one-on-one battle, where losing means acknowledging you weren't good enough, fitting the action game versus mode feel. The reviewer seems to appreciate this straightforward approach, noting its lasting appeal. The main section highlights the game's premise, facing off against former allies. Fighting Masters is described as a popular versus action game, with a deathmatch style, where preventing the opponent from getting up is key. It features a roster of 12 unique characters. Once you pick one, the remaining 11 become opponents. Screenshots show diverse stages, including a sacred building interior, a sandy arena, and a forest. The page then details the 12 planetary warriors who make up the roster. Each is listed with their name, height, weight, and a brief description of their fighting style. Highlights include Larry, an orthodox pro wrestler; Morin, who uses speedy tonfa techniques; Tomahawk, strong in aerial combat with wings; Elipha, an elephant-like fighter using its trunk; Beowulf, a cyborg with breakdance kicks; Zrygunte, a crayfish character boasting numerous techniques; Dio, a biting plant human; Flamer, a martial artist with leaping attacks; Goldrock, a judo expert with must-see leg sweeps; Medusa, a sumo fighter effective with palm thrusts; and Eyesight, a boxer who uses his long reachers. Droxen, a fire-breathing dragon, is also noted. This page delves deeper into the core mechanics and modes of Fighting Masters. It confirms the available game types are the one-player mode, pitting you against all 11 other characters in a survival-style knockout tournament across 12 stages where losing is not an option unless you use a continue, and a 2-player versus mode where you battle a friend, with the first to win 2 rounds taking the victory. The game boasts surprisingly simple controls, utilizing only the direction pad and 2 buttons, despite each of the 12 unique characters having a diverse set of techniques. A neat feature highlighted is the watch mode, allowing players to have the computer battle itself to study character moves and matchups. The page also showcases various dynamic character actions and entrances, such as characters appearing in beams of light, powerful kicks, leave the leg length to me, unique attacks like fire breath, spinning moves, and grappling techniques. The tone suggests the reviewer finds the variety of moves impressive and the overall presentation quite engaging, even noting the adult world realism of some throws. This page covers Task Force Harrier X, the Mega Drive port of the arcade vertically scrolling shooter. It highlights that this version includes original stages and improvements specifically for maniacal shooter fans. The game's story sets the stage at the end of the 20th century, where a coup has occurred, and you, as a pilot of the advanced Harrier developed by an international organization, must restore peace. The article praises the game's atmosphere, mentioning the engaging English sample voices and beautiful demo visuals that motivate the player. The core of the gameplay relies on picking up power-up items to strengthen your jet. These include bomb types like Snake Eye, Dispenser, and Crystal, each offering different attack patterns like direct drops, vertical spread, or wide area blasts, and they power up in multiple stages. Furthermore, the Mega Drive version introduces a unique system, allowing you to control your option machines to form one of 4 different battle formations: normal, wide, attack, and defense, plus a vertical arrangement shown in screenshots. Each formation offers tactical advantages or disadvantages, adding strategic depth to the intense shooting action. The article also previews the powerful option weapons: the multi-directional laser option, the easy-to-ace homing option, and the high-damage missile option. Mastering the use of these items and formations is presented as key to success.
Task Force Harrier X on the Mega Drive offers 12 stages with unique challenges and bosses. The Mega Drive version introduces 6 original bosses not found in the arcade release. Mission 3 features a bomber, the Su-45. Mission 5 sees players battling the X-14 shuttle, codenamed Silver Star, over a frozen sea. Mission 6 presents the hover tank to 175 in a port assault. Mission 7 introduces the Yak-120 early warning aircraft after tank attacks. Mission 9 features a multi-part boss, a space shuttle, its carrier, and a satellite. Finally, Mission 10 includes the laser battle car, T-99 rupees, which splits upon damage, in a supply base infiltration scenario. Each boss offers a distinctive combat experience. This page features the BeepMD race section, highlighting reviews or previews for 3 different Sega Mega Drive games. The first game is Fighting Masters, an action title featuring unique characters and seemingly simple controls, with reviewers finding it enjoyable despite its simplicity, earning an average score of 6.5. Next is Undeadline, known as M.U.H.A. Internationally, this action game, starring protagonist Leon, is noted for its high difficulty, but reviewers praise its visuals, atmosphere, and varied boss fights, resulting in a solid average score of 7.25. Finally, the page covers Taiheki, a simulation game based on Japanese history. Reviewers comment on the unique setting for a simulation title and find it accessible, although battle sequences can be lengthy. The character graphics and presentation outside of combat are highlighted positively, leading to an average score of 6.75. The section includes comments from several reviewers, along with visual scores depicted by dog icons. This page features reviews for 4 Sega Mega Drive titles: Quackshot starring Donald Duck, Dahna, Mega Drive, Double Dragon 2, The Revenge, and Task Force Harrier X. Quackshot, a Disney adventure game following Castle of Illusion, is highlighted for its strong sense of adventure and Donald Duck's charming movements, making it suitable for a younger audience, though some design choices were found a bit cumbersome. It received generally positive scores, averaging 7.5. Dafna. Mega Drive is presented as an action title with distinctive graphics, but is criticized for gameplay issues like awkward character movement and hit detection problems, leading to a mixed reception and an average score of 5.25. Double Dragon 2. The Revenge, a port of the arcade beat-em-up, is viewed negatively by reviewers, citing awkward controls and a disappointing performance compared to the arcade version, with slow speed and visuals described as resembling the Famicom. It scored the lowest average at 4.75. Finally, Task Force Harrier X, a vertical scrolling shooter port, is seen as a competent but ultimately generic game, lacking individuality and flashiness compared to other shooters, despite having a cool intro and solid basics. It garnered an average score of 6. This review page covers 4 Mega Drive games. Satoru Nakajima F1 Grand Prix, a top-down racer, received a 6.5. Praised for its approachable graphics but criticized for challenging controls and lack of engaging elements. Valis, a side-scrolling action game, scored a 5.75. It's a port, with disappointing visuals and depth compared to other versions, though serviceable for fans. Nobunaga's Ambition, a historical simulation, earned a 7.0. While considered complex, it's a decent entry for the platform, especially for fans of the series or Japanese history. Lastly, F1 Circus MD, another top-down F1 racer, scored a 7.0. It offered improved visuals and speed, and a helpful minimap, despite difficult controls. The next page features reviews for 4 Mega Drive games. Kicking things off is Golden Axe 2, the sequel to the classic beat-em-up, which scores a respectable 7.25. Reviewers found it quite similar to the original, noting the new magic attacks are flashier, but some felt core improvements were needed,
and the hardest difficulty's final stage was inaccessible. Next up, Nostalgia 1907, a Mega CD adventure game ported from PC, also receives a 7.25. It impressed with its atmospheric, movie-like presentation and compelling scenario, although some felt the dialogue could be more natural, and the unique posture control system was a bit unusual. Ernest Evans, an action title, earns a 6.5. While the multi-jointed character animations in cutscenes are visually stunning, they make for difficult and sometimes awkward gameplay controls, with reviewers noting repetitive level design despite cool visuals. Lastly, Solfis, a shooting game ported from the X68000, scores 6.70. It features striking multi-jointed enemy bosses and challenging gameplay, but some pointed out issues with hit detection and standard boss patterns, questioning if it fully justified a Mega CD release despite being a solid shooter overall. The next page of BeepMD features 4 game reviews under the BeepMD Race section. First up is Heavy Nova for the Mega CD, an action title scoring a 6.0 average. Reviewers were impressed by the smooth robot animations, but found the gameplay reactions slow, particularly in the fighting segments, and felt the single-player mode lacked depth. Next is Planet Woodstock Funky Horror Band, a musical RPG for Mega CD that scored 5.75. While the music production and professional vocals were praised, the core RPG gameplay was considered quite plain and unremarkable, leaving some reviewers feeling the title didn't fully utilize the CD format's potential. Following is Donald Duck, Quackshot starring Donald Duck for the standard Mega Drive, earning a 6.75. This action platformer was lauded for capturing Donald's character and expression, although some reviewers found the initial difficulty curve steep and were frustrated by being sent back far upon losing a life. Finally, Fray Training Arc, an action shooter for the Mega Drive, received a 5.75. This vertical shooter features charming characters and a warm atmosphere but was criticized for a slow game tempo and frustrating boss fights where magic attacks couldn't be used, lacking the sense of exhilaration expected from a shooter. This review section covers 2 Gear games and editorial thoughts on the holiday season's game releases and the Mega CD launch. Heavyweight Champ, a boxing game, received a 5.0. With praise for its visuals but criticism for its difficult controls and strong opponents. Sonic the Hedgehog for Game Gear scored a 7.25, lauded as a successful port that captured the essence of the Mega Drive version, despite some slowdown issues. The editorial discusses the current game lineup, noting a lack of truly standout titles for the holiday season. They highlight games like F1 Circus, Golden Axe 2, and Sonic on Game Gear as decent options. The Mega CD is considered promising but still developing, needing more time for truly impressive software. Nostalgia on CD and Sonic on Game Gear are recommended. This page presents the 10th part of the Hyper HT technology column by AGI Nibyaku, focusing on a PC game called Splatters from Bullseye Software. The author discusses this game as an evolution of simulation titles, depicting a first-person 3D polygonal environment where players navigate using mouse and keyboard. The goal involves moving through multi-level maps, using elevators, and engaging in combat against AI opponents in a deathmatch-style game with flag objectives. The article mentions the game's simple polygonal graphics, including basic depictions of characters and violence. Screenshots show the wireframe 3D view and UI elements, like score and map. The author highlights the game's AI and the interesting feature allowing players to view the perspectives of the other 15 participants. They see potential for future networked play and express a desire for similar, more realistic experiences on dedicated gaming hardware. This page is a vibrant advertisement from Taito, promoting their lineup of games for the Sega Mega Drive. The visual theme is eye-catching, with game cartridges presented like prizes hanging from ropes against a bright red background. A group of young people is featured looking up at the games, embodying the excitement and difficulty of choosing which one to play. The text surrounding them translates to "Beauty, Beauty, Beauty Youth." So interesting, you'll be spoiled for choice on which to pick. Taito's games. The advertisement showcases several key Taito titles available on the platform. Prominently featured are the New Zealand story, the boxing game Final Blow, the action platformer Rastan Saga 2, the classic shooter Space Invaders 90, the charming platformer Rainbow Islands, the scrolling shooter Darius 2, and the aerial combat game Master of Weapon. The text below the game boxes highlights the diverse genres offered, stating these games are thrilled by adventure, sweating in sports, heating up in battles. Each game is listed with its Japanese title and price in Japanese yen. This spread serves as a strong promotional piece for Taito's varied Mega Drive offerings, emphasizing their quality and broad appeal. This page continues the high-energy theme from the previous, featuring Taito's Sega Mega Drive lineup, presented against a vibrant red background with game cartridges hanging from ropes. The large text proclaims dazzling youth and announces that blood boils for hot-blooded boys and girls, with 13 carefully selected popular titles now on sale. The page showcases 7 specific titles at the bottom, displaying their cover art and prices. These include the action shooter Wolfite, the aerial combat game Fire Mustang, the fantasy beat-em-up Saint Sword, the intense action title Thunder Fox, the strategic shooter Master of Weapon, the unique game Mao Renjishi featuring dramatic kabuki-like characters, and the action brawler Growls. These games are presented as part of the recommended selection, inviting players to dive into Taito's diverse offerings on the Mega Drive. This page brings us worldwide news and information from the world of Sega. The big news is the final release date for the Mega CD, now confirmed for December 14th. Launch titles include Sega's bizarre action platformer Wonder Dog, Wolf Team's shooter Solfice, and the mecha fighting game Heavy Nova by Micronet. More titles are expected before the end of the year, like Wolf Team's action game Ernest Evans, Game Art's adventure title Rise of the Dragon, and the unique adventure Nostalgia 1907. Alongside the Mega CD launch, Sega is running a winter campaign leading into the new year. This campaign, celebrating the Mega CD release, offers chances to win cash prizes and Sega hardware like Mega Drives and Game Gears for those who purchase the new add-on and enter a lottery. Finally, there's a report on a device from Southeast Asia called the Multi-Game Doctor that's appearing in Japan. This device allows users to copy game cartridges for various systems, including Famicom, Super Famicom, Mega Drive, PC Engine, Game Gear, and Game Boy, onto memory cards. Using a special adapter, these copied games can then be played, essentially acting like a pirating tool similar to using rewritable discs. It's quite remarkable and concerning that such a versatile copying device exists, reportedly costing over 200,000 yen for a set. This page covers various events and releases happening around the time of the Mega CD launch. Reports from the Melhen Sports Fair 91 in Okayama highlight a well-attended BeepMD World Game Tournament, featuring popular titles like Double Dragon 2 and the Game Gear title GG Aleste, potentially Power Strike 2. Large crowds turned out, with significant waits to try new software. There was also a national TV broadcast schedule for BeepMD World. The increasing importance of crowd-drum technology is noted with a look at Fujitsu's new multimedia PC, the FM Towns 2. Equipped with a CD-ROM drive, several CD releases are featured, including the Mega Selection 2 album with music from Sega games such as Bonanza Bros. And Outrun, a soundtrack for Raid Legend of the Eight Heroes, and a game video collection for Street Fighter II titled Outside the Ring Battle Edition, showcasing non-tournament matches. News for Dragon Quest fans mentions new merchandise releasing in December and January, alongside anticipation for the upcoming Dragon Quest vs. Other year-end events included a Fujitsu Technology Showcase and a charity Christmas party. This page features a new release scramble, spotlighting upcoming software for the Mega Drive. The main focus is on the highly anticipated port of the Amiga classic, Shadow of the Beast. The preview highlights how incredibly well the Mega Drive version captures the original's groundbreaking visuals, specifically calling out the stunning 13-layer parallax scrolling. It also praises the detailed character animations and the successful adaptation of the Amiga's unique PCM soundtrack using the Mega Drive's hardware, perfectly recreating the game's distinct atmosphere. The article notes that while the original Amiga control scheme might have been idiosyncratic, the Mega Drive version wisely maps the jump action to the A button, making it more intuitive. The game itself is described as intense action, battling a host of large, often grotesque, enemies. The review echoes the game's theme with phrases like, "Look at this group of huge characters," and the bold statement, "Enemies are beasts. I'm a beast too," emphasizing the raw, wild nature of the gameplay. Screenshots showcase the protagonist facing off against several massive and intimidating creatures, including a winged beast and a towering stone face. Other titles listed in the scramble include games like Portopia, Juju Legend, known internationally as Toki, Joe Montana Football 2, Mario Lemieux Hockey, Elysia Dragoon, and others, covering a variety of genres set to hit the console. Dahna Megami Tanju for the Mega Drive is a fast-paced action game where the player controls Dahna, A young mage who can ride and ally with 3 creatures: a horse, a giant, and a griffin. Her mission is to rescue her sister Regine and the Mage Mash across 6 stages, utilizing magic, directional fire, and temporary invincibility. The game features diverse stages and challenging boss battles.
Stage 1, Horn, introduces basic enemies and a flying boss. Stage 2, Horn 2, involves a downhill chase. Stage 3, Tower of Darkness, requires a vertical climb to rescue Mash. Stage 4, Winged Domain, features aerial combat. Players collect magic and life balls to replenish their gauges. The game highlights the varied gameplay and thrilling encounters.
Alicia Dragoon, a new action game by GameArts, is set for a spring release. The game features a revamped lightning attack system for Alicia, the main character. Players manage a power gauge that allows for a powerful charge attack, and they can upgrade their lightning attack through items.
A significant addition is the option monsters.
These allies, divided into attack and defense types, aid players in combat. Only one can be active at a time, making strategic selection vital. They have HP that can be replenished via specific items or at the end of a stage. The article also hints at the game's lore and visuals, with mentions of character art, particularly for Alicia and the final boss, Durga. Artwork and gameplay screenshots are included, and even a post-game screen is featured. This page highlights 3 new releases for the system. First up is Joe Montana 2, Sports Talk Football, the highly anticipated sequel to the popular American football game. The biggest selling point this time is the inclusion of extensive voice commentary throughout the game, making it feel much more like watching a real broadcast. Graphics and player animations are enhanced, and the AI is smarter, offering a very realistic simulation. Options include adjustable weather like rain. Screenshots showcase the new horizontal field view, team selection, and various gameplay moments.
Next is Battlemania, known internationally as Troubleshooter. This marks Vic Tokai's entry onto the system with a side-scrolling shooter. You play as a unique heroine on a mission to rescue someone, navigating through 5 stages. A key feature is a support character named Haneda Maria, who acts as an option. Mastering her use seems crucial for success. The game is praised for its distinctive enemies and fresh feel compared to other intense action titles on the system. Screenshots show the main character, enemies, and gameplay. Finally, we have Mario Lemieux Hockey, released as NHL Hockey in the West. This ice hockey simulation features smooth player movement and fast-paced gameplay. Beyond standard exhibition and tournament modes, it includes options like a shootout mode and a fun 2-player versus mode, promising extended replay value. Screenshots show the action on the ice from different angles, highlighting the speed and physicality. This page kicks off the new release Scramble section, highlighting upcoming titles. First up is Data East's arcade port, Atomic Runner Chelnov. This action game brings the explosive, fighting human power plant protagonist to the Mega Drive, promising a high-quality conversion typical of Data East's work. Screenshots show the side-scrolling gameplay and the character in action. Next is another Data East arcade hit, Two Crude Dudes. This beat-em-up's greatest weapon is the ability to pick up and throw anything, including your comrade. The game features simultaneous 2-player action and a distinct, slightly goofy tone mentioned by the magazine. Screenshots demonstrate the characters throwing objects and allies with comic sound effects. Following that is Caesar's Report 2, a strategy game sequel from Micronet.
This installment shifts to a quarter-view perspective and incorporates real-time elements. It features various modes including a massive 2-player versus mode and moves from password saves to battery backup. Screenshots show the map view and character interactions. Finally, the page wraps up with a new info 4-piece section, giving a quick look at 4 more upcoming games. Sega's racing classic Turbo Outrun, the simulation title A Train, the action game Shura no Mon, based on the popular manga, and the action game Magical Taruto-kun, based on the manga and anime. Screenshots for each offer a glimpse into these diverse titles.
This page features a special look at Koei's grand strategy title, Nobunaga's Ambition.
Released for the Mega Drive, this simulation game is highlighted as a major release for fans of the genre. The article focuses on the game's system and its deep historical basis, utilizing 8 megabits and featuring battery backup for saves. The page delves into the game's historical setting by detailing the 2 available scenarios. The first, Sengoku Doran, places players in 1555, focusing on Oda Nobunaga's difficult early years consolidating power in Owari, amidst internal strife and numerous rival daimyo across Japan. The second scenario, Nobunaga Encirclement, is set in 1571, following Nobunaga's expansion. This period sees Nobunaga facing a powerful anti-Nobunaga alliance, triggered in part by the betrayal of Azai Nagamasa and the Battle of Anagawa. These two starting points offer players distinct challenges, representing key phases of Nobunaga's rise to power, with the magazine emphasizing the importance of understanding the historical context. This page continues the look at Koei's grand strategy game, Nobunaga's Ambition. It focuses on recommended daimyo, feudal lords, for players to choose from, explaining that despite the title, Oda Nobunaga isn't automatically the easiest or most advantageous starting point. The page highlights several powerful daimyo with portraits and brief descriptions, including Usugi Kenshin, known as the Tiger of Echigo and rival to Takeda, Takeda Shingen, leader of Kai with many talented retainers, Oda Nobunaga himself, struggling with internal issues but possessing capable generals, Imagawa Yoshimoto, a powerful Kanto daimyo who will face defeat at Okehazama, and Shimazu Yoshihisa, leader of the Kyushu powerhouse, recommended for beginners due to Kyushu's isolated geography. A map of Japan in March 1555 is shown, illustrating the starting positions and territories of the various forces. The text below the map asks how many players will be joining. 08. Additionally, the page lists other influential daimyo who might not be as dominant as the top 5, but are still historically significant and suitable for more experienced players. These include figures like Date Masamune, Hojo Sound, Miyoshi Nagayoshi, Mori Motonari, Chosokabe Motochika, Honganji Kenyo, and Tokugawa Ieyasu. The descriptions briefly touch upon their strengths and historical roles. The overall message is that the choice of daimyo significantly impacts the gameplay experience and difficulty. This page continues the strategic advice for Nobunaga's Ambition, focusing on vital domestic policies needed for a long campaign. The game is presented as a simulation where developing national strength through key parameters is essential for conquering Japan. 3 crucial commands are highlighted. First is flood control and development, which turns wasteland into farmland, increasing food yield. However, only developing lowers flood control, making you vulnerable to disasters. Raising both is key for a stable economy. Second is technology level, which dictates your ability to develop new technologies like firearms and ironclads. High tech is vital for warfare, especially naval battles with ironclads, and requires funding often sourced from gold mines. Third is culture level, which impacts tax revenue, improves personnel command effectiveness, and allows you to acquire valuable tea ceremony items from merchants like Matsui Tomoaki. Hosting tea ceremonies boosts general morale, but low culture means you can't buy the necessary items. The page also mentions random events, including visitors. One such event involves a man who offers to search for a gold mine. While potentially lucrative, he might be a foreign ninja stealing technology, so be cautious. Screenshots show Takeda Shingen performing technology development, and a character interaction screen with Matsui Tomoaki regarding tea ceremonies. This page delves into the strategic necessities of war in Nobunaga's Ambition, explaining that as your military grows, you must expand your territory to support the increased costs. This makes conflict an economic as well as a military necessity. Before engaging in battle, it's crucial to prepare. You can use diplomatic commands to disrupt the target country through sabotage or confusion, or request reinforcements from adjacent allies with high friendship levels. The game features 3 types of battles: field battles, siege battles, from the defender's perspective, and naval battles. Success depends on proper unit allocation to your officers, and choosing the right unit types. For instance, cavalry excels in field battles due to their mobility, while infantry is key for breaching castle gates and sieges. Naval battles are tough, without ironclad ships, emphasizing the importance of technological development discussed on the previous page. Low technology, in general, makes any battle harder and longer. A key piece of advice offered is that while troop training is valuable, recruiting new soldiers will dilute the training level. It's also essential to boost officer loyalty and utilize officers with high combat skills in offensive actions. Having more troops provides an advantage, but remember that a larger army comes with significantly higher costs. The screenshots illustrate these different battle types, and the strategic planning screen, showing options like developing infrastructure, managing military, trade, intelligence, personnel, diplomacy, manufacturing, tactics, looting, and troop recruitment. This page previews the Sega Mega Drive port of Koei's Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2, a grand strategy game. The game, releasing December 26th, promises deep gameplay that's best experienced firsthand. It's set during the late Han Dynasty, a time of peasant revolts and corruption, introducing key figures like Cao Cao, Sun Jian, Dong Zhuo, and Liu Bei with his sworn brothers. The article offers context for newcomers, explaining the historical background and suggesting related works like the Records of the Three Kingdoms and the novel Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Screenshots showcase character art and dramatic in-game scenes, highlighting the ambition and conflicts of the era. This page details the core gameplay and scenarios available in Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2. It outlines the 6 distinct starting scenarios: Dong Zhuo's Tyranny, 189 AD; Cao Cao's Rise, 194 AD; Liu Bei's Eclipse State, 201 AD; Zhu Zhiliang Appears, 208 AD; Guan Yu's Struggle, 215 AD; and Three Kingdoms Stand, 220 AD. Each scenario presents different political landscapes, available rulers like Cao Cao, Sun Quan, and Liu Bei, and varying difficulty levels. An exciting feature highlighted is the ability to create your own custom ruler, the New Ruler, complete with customizable appearance and stats, adding significant replayability. The page showcases character portraits depicting different character types, intellectual and military, across 3 age groups: young, middle-aged, and old. The basic gameplay loop is explained through a flowchart, showing the flow from domestic affairs and diplomacy/personnel to military and war, with stratagems influencing diplomacy and military actions. Finally, the article briefly touches upon the difference between historical accounts and the famous novel Romance of the Three Kingdoms, explaining how the novel is generally written from a perspective favoring Liu Bei and Shu Han. This page is a comprehensive strategy guide for Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2, titled Strategist's Scroll. It provides essential tips for new players aiming to become a ruler in the game's challenging scenarios. The first section emphasizes building national strength through domestic affairs. Key advice includes distributing rice to maintain public loyalty and prioritizing development over flood control in the early stages, using multiple officers for efficiency. It warns against using temporary levies, which hurt loyalty. Screenshots show officer stats and city management screens, illustrating the various numerical values like population, gold, rice, loyalty, and development levels that players must manage. The second part focuses on diplomacy, personnel management, strategy, and commerce. It recommends forming numerous alliances and being cautious when recruiting officers with low intelligence. Recruiting is often best done by subordinates scouting out potential talent. The guide highlights the importance of strategic commands, schemes, like lowering enemy loyalty, and advises assigning charismatic officers as governors of territories. It also briefly mentions being mindful of the rice market for managing finances. The overall tone suggests a careful, strategic approach is needed for success. Before engaging in warfare in Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2, assess enemy strength, readiness, and personnel. Maximize your own weapon and training levels, and stockpile at least a month's worth of provisions. Break alliances beforehand, and consider substituting your ruler to avoid immediate turn delays. During battle, use strong officers for duels and intelligent ones for ambushes, not on water. Utilize fire tactics within cities, and be aware of weather's impact on ambushes. The battle menu provides commands for movement, attack, retreat, and schemes. After battle, manage captured officers, turning them, if possible, but be aware of their low loyalty. You can also gain war spoils, powerful items like stat-boosting books, swords, beautiful women, and horses that offer significant advantages. Remember to save frequently. The game progresses by expanding from 1 region to 3. This page introduces the historical simulation game, Taiheki. Set during the chaotic Nanbokucho period in Japan, it faithfully recreates the conflict between major figures like Ashikaga Takauji, Nita Yoshisada, and Kusunoki Masashige. The game's system is outlined, starting with scenario selection. You can choose between 2 main paths, one following the Ashikaga clan, beginning with the Battle of Rokuhara Tandai, and the other centered on the Kusunoki and Nita clans, starting with Kusunoki Masashige's defense of Akasaka Castle. The screenshots show the scenario selection screen and portraits of the key figures. Commander selection is another key aspect. While less critical early on, later battles require careful choice,
prioritizing generals with high abilities, as you can't deploy everyone. A screenshot displays a commander's stats, including rank, stamina, attack, intellect, loyalty, strategy, and troop count. Crucially, victory conditions are map-dependent and varied, not simply tied to capturing castles or defeating enemy leaders. You must fulfill specific criteria, which can include things like defeating enemy headquarters or annihilating units, as shown in a battle map screenshot. Ignoring these conditions means you won't win, regardless of battlefield success. The page emphasizes that historical battles, including sieges and retreats, are realistically depicted. Finally, a section provides historical background, explaining the political climate leading up to the conflict, highlighting the rise of figures like Kusunoki Masashige and the eventual clash between the Ashikaga and Kusunoki/Nita forces. This page introduces some of the pivotal warlords you'll encounter in the game Taiheki, dividing them into the Ashikaga clan and the combined Kusunoki and Nita forces. On the Ashikaga side, you meet Ashikaga Takauji, the clan's leader known for his overall high stats, and his brother, Ashikaga Tadayoshi, who excels in combat. Code no Moronao is highlighted as a powerful retainer with high leadership, acting as a main force. Sasaki Doyo is described as an unpredictable character who frequently switches sides. Representing the other faction are Kusunoki Masashige, a capable lord known for his intellect and virtue, and his brother Masasue, the second strongest warrior in the Kusunoki clan with decent leadership. Nita Yoshisada is presented as a strong warrior who played a key role in attacking Kamakura. Finally, Kitabatake Aki is noted for returning from Tohoku to oppose the Ashikaga. The page concludes with a strategic tip, quoting a variation of Sun Tzu's advice: knowing your enemy and their commanders prevents danger. It stresses the importance of checking enemy troop strength and unit types before engaging, noting that high-rank units like cavalry or archers can inflict heavy damage even when you have superior numbers. An example character card for Hojo Takanaoki is shown, displaying his stamina, attack, intellect, and troop count, illustrating the kind of data you can access for commanders. This page delves into the strategic importance of terrain in Taiheki. It explains that the map features various terrain types like mountains, forests, towns, villages, shrines, temples, and rivers, and skillfully utilizing them is crucial for victory. Strategies leveraging terrain are highlighted as effective. For example, forests can be used for ambushes, and castles provide defensive advantages against enemies near forests or mountains, allowing the use of rockfalls or other indirect tactics to weaken them. These strategies can reduce enemy strength without direct confrontation, although their success depends on the commander's intellect. The page then details the characteristics of each terrain type. Towns and villages are places for recruiting soldiers, gathering resources, finding local officers, and healing the wounded. Shrines and temples are locations where commanders can increase their virtue and intellect, respectively, and also search for new officers. Castles are ideal for defensive stands, using strategies like fire attacks, rockfalls, and persuasion to deplete the enemy before engaging directly. Quote, forests allow for setting ambushes and using fire attacks advantageously from the outside but leave units inside vulnerable to fire. Mountains, specifically green ones, are passable and permit fire attacks, but caution is advised as the enemy can also use them. Brown mountains are impassable barriers. Understanding these terrain effects is vital for effective movement and battle planning across the map. Taiheki's combat involves strategic unit deployment and formation selection. Before battle, analyze the enemy's composition, and choose units accordingly: cavalry for swift attacks or archers for defense. Select a formation to counter the enemy's setup. During combat, issue commands to individual units for tactical adjustments. The wedge formation is versatile, while formations like crane wing are high risk. A key element is the general's duel, a high-stakes gamble. If commanders meet, a duel ensues, decided by bow or sword. Victory routs a large enemy force, but defeat means annihilation. Screenshots highlight unit management, formation selection, commands, and the general duel. This page features a preview of the upcoming RPG, Sorcerer Kingdom, as its release date in January approaches. The article continues from the previous issue, detailing the early story and gameplay. It highlights the protagonist's journey starting at age 16, gaining adventurer qualifications from King Randell, and the excitement of their first steps into the world. The game's tactical battle system is emphasized as a key feature, with advice given on positioning, specifically attacking enemies from behind to avoid counterattacks, which is described as a fundamental tactic, especially early on. Screenshots show various early game events: receiving a quest from the king, visiting a town,
and the first major battle against the Kobold Legion, including a confrontation with the Kobold King. The article points out the importance of recovering health before challenging the Legion, and suggests tactics like luring enemies to avoid being surrounded. Another screenshot shows the protagonist earning the butler rank after being recognized for their deeds. The preview concludes with the adventurer heading towards the elf village, suggesting further exploration and story progression. The tone conveys excitement for the game's strategic elements and the protagonist's growth from a simple fighter. The Sorcerer Kingdom's journey progresses to the elf village, a tranquil settlement, accessible after clearing Krell. The village features limited amenities, and primarily involves interacting with villagers, especially the Elder. Screenshots highlight the village map, and key dialogues with the Elder and his granddaughter. The Elder's role involves guarding a significant rock, and he discusses the increasing monster threat and a weakened seal. A strategic tip, a little good story, advises players to retreat from battles by using the runaway command. This warps the player back to the last screen transition, offering a quick escape and a way to preserve strength, especially useful after leveling up. It's recommended to save after a successful retreat. This page covers the continuation of the journey in Sorcerian after reaching the elf village. The focus shifts to the protagonist heading towards the Dragon's Neck Rock, encountering someone surrounded by monsters. This person turns out to be Edgar, who was reportedly blown away by a wizard. Just as the protagonist and Edgar are recovering, a sudden incident occurs in the elf village. A crucial elf orb is stolen. The village elder's granddaughter, Astina, bravely but perhaps foolishly, goes alone into the dangerous Urk forest to chase the thief. The frightened elder expresses his fear for Astina, highlighting the orb's importance and the danger she is in. Despite the earlier encounter with the wizard, the immediate priority becomes rescuing Astina. The protagonist, with Edgar now accompanying, decides to head into the Urk forest to find her. The screenshots throughout the page illustrate these events, showing the meeting with Edgar, the dialogue about the stolen orb, the elder's distress, and the preparation to venture into the forest. The narrative strongly pushes the player into the next major questline. This page guides players through the challenging Urk forest in Sorcerian, a location described as the first true dungeon with a confusing layout. Navigating the dense forest requires careful attention, as stopping can lead to immediate encounters with enemies like green slimes and trolls. The magazine stresses the importance of conserving stamina and carrying potions, as unnecessary battles here will impact the crucial fight against the monster who stole the elf orb. Screenshots show various encounters, including the slimes, potentially causing status effects, valuable treasure chests containing items vital for stamina recovery, and the experience of getting lost. The page warns that the forest, while appearing simple, is deceptively dangerous. The objective is to locate the monster's hideout, hinted at by a foul smell. The formidable basilisk boss is then introduced, known for its petrifying gas attack, which also indicates its health level. The magazine playfully leaves the strategy for defeating the basilisk as a challenge for the player to figure out, questioning if the adventure might end here. This page presents an advertisement for Kyo International, a company celebrating 10 years in business and opening a direct sales shop in Akihabara. The big news is their new shop, a hub for arcade game enthusiasts, offering a vast selection of commercial circuit boards at incredibly low prices, described as super cheap, ultra cheap, crazy cheap. Gamers and non-gamers alike interested in the hobby are encouraged to visit. The shop is located at Nagasaki Alpha Building, 195 Sotokanda, Chiyodaku, Tokyo, open daily from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m., except Wednesdays. The page also highlights their latest product, the Combo AV Control Box, described as the newest and most durable control box based on ergonomic design. A key feature is its high-quality terminal compatibility, utilizing the same high-performance IC found in the Super Famicom, enabling video recording. They invite comparison with other machines to appreciate the difference. Different versions of the Combo AV are offered, including V-Type, terminal, video, R-Type, RGB 15 or 21 pin, and VR-Type, both plus RF. They also introduce a voltage checker feature, showing the correct voltage at a glance, included free with Combo AV purchases or available separately. A Diffie kit for the Combo AV is also available at a discount. Finally, a special instructional video featuring Cutie Suzuki is mentioned. 1991 was a landmark year for the Sega Genesis, fueled by its success in the US market. The console saw a surge in original software releases, a key factor in its momentum, despite the Super NES launch. Sega aggressively marketed the Genesis, particularly leveraging Sonic the Hedgehog's popularity to directly compete with Nintendo's Mario. Sonic's inclusion as a pack-in game in the US proved highly successful. The article highlights key games such as Electronic Arts sports titles, PGA Tour Golf, NHL Hockey and Road Rash, and F-22 Interceptor. RPG releases like Might and Magic and The Immortal showcased the Genesis's diverse library. Sega aimed to sell 3 million Genesis units in America by the following year. The review's visuals feature Sonic and screenshots from the mentioned games, solidifying 1991 as a significant year for the Genesis. The Sega Genesis continued its strong performance in 1992, fueled by a diverse library of games. Puzzle games like Marble Madness, and titles such as Centurion, Defender of Rome from Electronic Arts, were praised. Character-based games, especially those featuring American comics and Disney characters, proved popular in the US. Sports games, a Genesis staple, saw strong reception, with titles like PGA Tour Golf and Mike Ditka Power Football leading the charge. The Genesis market was further strengthened by an influx of new developers like Ballistic, Synapse, and Mirrorsoft, promising games like Xenon 2, Mega Blast, and Alien 3. The article highlights the increasing presence of American-developed Genesis titles in the Japanese market. Anticipation is high for games like Pit Fighter and Road Blasters to see simultaneous releases in both regions, solidifying the Genesis's position in the 16-bit market. This page features the Sonic Sushin Sports section, presenting a dramatic and humorous look at game development. A large headline declares, "If so, I'll fight with 16 megabytes," alongside the phrase, "Minoru Naito enraged." A central photo shows two individuals, presumably developers, engaged in a mock confrontation with kitchenware, visually reflecting the internal conflict described in the article. The text recounts a visit to Sonic Software Planning's Shinjuku development room, detailing a lighthearted yet intense rivalry between developers Minoru Naito and Taguchi, portrayed with wrestling-style drama. The conflict is framed around the technical challenge and scope implied by 16 megabytes. The article also touches upon the rigors of game development, mentioning late nights during the development of the Shining series, a prominent RPG franchise on the Genesis. A small illustration titled, "My Anger is Spark LV4, adds to the dramatic tone, and Hiroyuki Takahashi offers a concluding thought about making the game industry more interesting. This page presents a diverse mix of gaming-related content. Hiroshi Naito shares personal anecdotes about his new mansion, lifestyle adjustments, and health issues. Taguchi Sushi contributes, "Moving is hard," discussing relocation woes, and a nostalgic discovery. A cynical maxim about self-enjoyment and industry struggles are briefly noted. Professor Tagawa's Weekend Space Trip offers a fictional sci-fi narrative about a tense first contact with aliens on a space base. Finally, a Sonic Sushin Mania trailer highlights reader engagement, featuring fan contributions like postcards, illustrations, and humorous interactions, promising Sega prizes for participants. This page provides an inside look at the hectic production of Shining Force, which is heading towards a March 27th release. The team is in the final crunch, working long hours with tight deadlines for cartridge production and the final version. The article humorously describes the intense atmosphere as a hellish scene, filled with daily arguments or disagreements, suggesting that this creative tension ultimately leads to a better game. The struggles of development, including sleep deprivation, are also touched upon. A short comic strip illustrates the frustration of creative block faced by the development team. The Sonic Sushin Mania section. Thanks readers for their mail, features fan art of Sonic and Dr. Eggman, and answers reader questions about the development staff and potential game ideas, even hinting at a Shining Force Gaiden concept. Prizes are promised for featured contributions, with a humorous note about fan letters being limited to women. The game design Elephant's Hole feature encourages readers to submit game design proposals, emphasizing that the key is a clear, unique selling point, regardless of proposal length. Points are awarded for strong ideas, and everyone gets bonus points as Shining Force nears completion. Finally, the ending section announces that, following reader feedback and a prompt from President Takahashi, Sonic Sushin will now award prizes like signed items and special phone cards for featured reader mail and design proposals, catching up to other magazines like Sega/Falcom Sushin. This page introduces a new interview series titled Ukulele Ino's Doremifa Chat, featuring discussions with game musicians. The first installment features Haria, the keyboardist for the famous SST band, interviewed by Eno, who works on game planning and composition. They discuss the state of recent game music, with Eno noting that some BGM has become too loud and can detract from the gameplay experience. Haduria shares his musical background, revealing he's been playing piano since the age of 3 and discussing how he learned composition. The conversation also covers the SST band's activities, including upcoming CD releases like Mega Selection 2, an arrangement album, and a separate album of original music, as well as plans for live CD performances in the future, looking towards the Mega CD era. Haria mentions Tetris music as being particularly memorable, albeit strange. The page also includes sheet music for a theme song composed by Haria, specifically for this BeepMD feature. It encourages readers to play and arrange the simple tune themselves, using various instruments. Images on the page show Haria, Eno playing a ukulele, and the cover art for the Mega Selection 2 album. This page features a special interview with Yoichi Arakawa, the president of Koei, addressing their recent decision to join the Mega Drive market. The headline asks about the true intentions behind this sudden move. Arakawa explains that the primary reason was strong demand from users who wanted Koei's strategy and simulation games on the Mega Drive. He also states that Koei aims to release their titles across various platforms, including SiCs and home consoles, to reach more customers. Regarding the Mega Drive hardware and audience, he feels the system is well suited for their games, noting the fast CPU. He addresses the perception that Mega Drive graphics might be a limitation compared to other consoles, stating that for historical simulation games, strategic depth and tactical thinking are more crucial than high-resolution graphics alone. The interview also touches on the pricing of Koei's games, which are often considered expensive. Arakawa suggests this reflects the company's confidence in the quality and depth of their titles. The page lists several prominent Koei games previously released on other platforms, including popular entries from the Nobunaga's Ambition and Romance of the Three Kingdoms series, as well as titles like Genghis Khan, Bandit Kings of Ancient China, Uncharted Waters, and L'Empereur. The next page continues the exclusive interview with Koei president Yoichi Arakawa. The page features a photograph of Mr. Arakawa, alongside images of game boxes, including Nobunaga's Ambition and Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2, and what appear to be soundtrack skids. In the interview, Arakawa discusses the appeal of Crydrom technology, noting its large memory capacity allows for more immersive experiences, like enhanced graphics and sound. He explains why historical simulation games are a core focus, highlighting the unique enjoyment of rewriting history and the deep, simulated experience they offer. He emphasizes Koei's commitment to quality, detailing their lengthy development process, often taking 2 years with teams of over 10 people, constantly refining the product. Regarding the price of Koei games, he acknowledges they may be seen as high, but believes the depth and enjoyment they provide offer value beyond the cost. He expresses interest in the Mega CD platform for future titles. He concludes the interview by thanking Mega Drive users for their support and encouraging newcomers to try historical simulation games, which he believes are undeniably fun. A post-interview note from the reporter reflects on the discussion, noting Koei's confidence and predicting their future moves, including a transition towards CD releases after a few more room titles. Potential future games mentioned include titles from the Uncharted Waters series, Royal Blood, Genghis Khan, and Isshin no Arashi. A small note at the bottom mentions a giveaway for a Koei calendar. This page is a recommended guide for the Game Gear, celebrating its first year with a look back at the 53 games released so far, categorized by genre. The action section highlights top picks like Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse, praised for its high quality, and Wagon Land. It notes that classic Mark II ports like Wonder Boy and Woody Pop are still great buys, and mentions the evolving appreciation for the GG Shinobi. Screenshots show gameplay from Castle of Illusion, Wagon Land, and Woody Pop. For shooting games, the guide points out a surprising number of strong titles, with Fantasy Zone Gear and GG Alesti leading the pack. Ports like Halley Wars, Galaga 91, GLOC, and the well-remade Space Harrier are also recommended. Screenshots feature Fantasy Zone Gear and GG Alest. Finally, the puzzle genre is covered, acknowledging a decent selection. Columns is singled out as the clear leader, having been released simultaneously with the console. Kinetic Connection and Magical Puzzle Pupilize are mentioned as other notable titles. A screenshot of Columns is included. This page continues the Game Gear recommended guide, covering simulation, table, RPG, sports, and race genres. In simulation, Aerial and Taisengata Senryaku Jig are highlighted as excellent recent tactical games, surpassing earlier titles like Headbuster and Zan Gear. Aerial is recommended for newcomers to the genre. A screenshot shows a tactical view from Taisengata Senryaku Ji. The table section features Shanghai 2, noted for its popularity, and Kunichan no Game Tengoku, a collection of 4 fun minigames ideal for the handheld. A screenshot of Shanghai 2's tile layout is shown. The RPG section points out the limited selection, recommending Eternal Legend as a good, traditional RPG. Dragon Crystal is described as leaning more towards strategy than a typical RPG. A screenshot from Axe Battler is displayed. For sports, popular picks include Sports Stadium, known as Gear Stadium here, a baseball game, and Super Golf, a simpler take on golf. Pat and Putter, a mix of golf and billiards, is also mentioned.
Screenshots show gameplay from a baseball game and a golf game.
Finally, the race genre offers distinct experiences. Super Monaco GP for speed, Chase H.Q for pursuits, and Outrun for relaxed driving. Screenshots from Chase H.Q and a racing game resembling Outrun or Super Monaco GP are included. The guide concludes with a general review of the library, noting the expectation for Game Gear to be strong in action titles, and explaining the rankings are editor evaluations. This page serves as a guide for filling out the magazine's survey postcard. It provides clear instructions on how to write comments to the editor, such as requests for specific game ports to the Mega Drive, and feedback on the magazine's content. It also shows how to mark answers to the multiple-choice questions using the provided circles, with examples for age and marking technique. The questionnaire covers various demographics and gaming habits, including gender, age, occupation, and the number of Mega Drive games owned. It asks which gaming magazines the reader frequents and which articles in the current issue were most and least interesting. Further questions delve into the reader's plans for purchasing the Mega CD add-on and which other game consoles they currently own, ranging from Famicom and Super Famicom to PC Engine, Neo Geo, and various computer platforms. The final section presents a lengthy numbered list of potential or upcoming Mega Drive games, asking the reader to select the single title they most want to buy. This list includes a wide variety of genres, featuring titles like Golden Axe 2, Shining Force, Quackshot, ToeJam and Earl, A Train, Turbo Outrun, Lunar, Lemmings, Prince of Persia, Splatterhouse 2, and many others, some of which were tentative or Japanese exclusive releases at the time. The page is a comprehensive tool for the magazine to gather reader feedback and gauge interest in future games and hardware. This page is dedicated to a preview of the upcoming Sega Mega Drive RPG, Shining Force, The Legacy of the Gods. The article is part of the magazine's Hot Menu section and highlights the anticipation building for the game's release on March 27, 1992. The preview delves into the game's unique opening sequence, which is presented like a story being read from an old book. This interactive opening, featuring a girl who opens the book, is highlighted as much more engaging than a simple title screen. The story itself chronicles the epic battle between the force of light and the forces of darkness.
The article also showcases the game's starting point, the town of Guardiana.
Screenshots depict the town's entrance, the interior of the church, and the presence of various townspeople. A particularly interesting feature noted by the reviewer is the dynamic camera that removes building roofs when the player enters, allowing a clear view of the interior and surrounding area. The smooth transitions between scenes and movement within the town are also praised. Although the version shown is noted as not final, the focus is on conveying the game's atmosphere and promising features. This page delves into the core mechanics of Shining Force, following up on the previous look at the game's introduction and town. It starts by introducing the system, noting that while still in development, it's fundamentally a field-type RPG with tactical elements, coining it a TRPG. The focus quickly shifts to the combat mode. This isn't a random encounter system like most RPGs. Battles are simulations taking place directly on the field or within dungeons. What sets it apart is the turn order. It's not strictly player, then enemy turns. Instead, turns are determined by each character's agility, with the fastest acting first, a key tactical element. When it's an ally's turn, you input commands. During battles, accessing the subcommand menu allows for useful options, like displaying a map of the current situation, adjusting message speed, and toggling battle messages. The map display is highlighted as a very convenient feature. Finally, the article comments on the enemy AI, stating it's quite sophisticated compared to older simulation games, making surprising and less predictable moves that add significant challenge and depth to the combat. Screenshots on the page showcase party selection, field movement, battle scenarios, and the various command menus available during combat. This page continues the deep dive into Shining Force, focusing specifically on the combat phase after positioning your character. It details how you select your action, presenting the core commands: fight, magic, item, and wait. Fight covers everything from standard attacks to bows, while magic includes single target and area effect spells with impressive visuals, noted as being no joke in power. Using items is straightforward, and waiting simply ends the character's turn. Before acting, you can also check enemy parameters by highlighting them, which is crucial for planning your moves. The article also highlights the inclusion of critical hits, a feature often absent in tactical RPGs, but present here, adding an exciting layer of chance and satisfaction with different types, like a fatal blow or cutting off the head. It emphasizes that while rare, landing one is incredibly rewarding. Combat is described as having quick thinking times, adding to the dynamic feel. There's also a small, unrelated note about staying energetic with yogurt, featuring a charming character sprite. This page showcases the upcoming game Chibi Maruko-chan, Waku Waku Shopping. This title is a lively board game featuring Maruko-chan, Tama-chan, Hanawa-kun, and Maru-kun competing in a shopping race. The grand prize? One wish granted. The gameplay involves moving around a vibrant map that feels like a trip, hitting different squares with various effects. There are shops, event spaces, and places that affect your money and points. It's based on a previously released Famicom version, now adapted for the Mega Drive. Namco has done a great job capturing the feel of the show. It's designed as a casual, fun experience, perfect for playing with friends. The page also provides brief introductions to the 4 playable characters, highlighting their personalities. The game is set to release on January 14th, priced at 6,000 yen. It's a 4 MBIT game, fitting the board game style well. This page delves into the gameplay systems of Chibi Maruko-chan, Waku Waku Shopping, explaining the various mechanics players will encounter on their journey to the destination decided by roulette. A significant part of the game is the 32 unique cards players can use. These cards offer a wide range of effects, from changing movement and altering points, to triggering special events, or providing defensive abilities. There's a card for almost any situation, adding strategic depth to the board game format. Movement on the board is primarily determined by spinning a roulette, leading players across various squares including shops and numerous event spaces. These events can involve losing items, meeting characters, or receiving different types of items, sometimes with conditions attached. The outcome of some events, like those at intersections, can even depend on a player's emotional state depicted by their character's expression. Success in the game hinges on collecting points, primarily earned by purchasing items and delivering them home using the Rabbit service. Players can also earn bonus points by gathering specific item combinations to form Yakuman sets, which require multiple items delivered together. It's a clever system that encourages thoughtful shopping and timely delivery. The game promises a fun experience with plenty of surprises along the way. This page provides an Endofear special feature highlighting the highly anticipated Sega Mega CD. It announces the release date as December 12th, stating that after its debut at the Tokyo Toy Show in June, the hardware is finally within reach of users, inviting them to dream with the new system. The page demonstrates how to connect the Mega CD to the Mega Drive, illustrating the simple process of removing the expansion slot cover, securing a plate, and sliding the Mega Drive onto the Mega CD unit. It notes that while the combined unit might look heavy, it's actually quite manageable, and the initial version is even thinner than a standard CD player, making it more compact than a regular CD player used for music. The article features 3 launch titles: Sulfise, a classic scrolling space shooter; Wakusei Woodstock, showing a bizarre band of creatures; and Heavy Nova, a futuristic action game with mechs. A specs memo section outlines key features, including substantial 6 MB backup RAM, a high-speed CPU, high-speed pickup function, dedicated coordinate conversion hardware, a convenient horizontal front-loading design, an 8x oversampling digital filter for enhanced sound, a stereo 8-channel PCM sound source, and compatibility with the CD+G karaoke system. This detailed list emphasizes the advanced capabilities the Mega CD brings to the Mega Drive platform. This page continues the end of year special feature on the Mega CD, focusing on its enhanced capabilities beyond just playing games. It highlights the availability of an external backup RAM cartridge, noted to be released in August, which functions similarly to the internal RAM, but offers portability, allowing players to carry their save data between different Mega CD units. Furthermore, the article introduces a separate karaoke unit accessory, which is slated for imminent release. With this unit and a microphone, the Mega CD transforms into a simple karaoke machine. A key point is the system's compatibility with CD plus G, compact disc plus graphics, discs, and the Mega CD hardware itself is designed with karaoke in mind, making it a fun addition for parties and practicing your singing before a main event. The page also delves into the music capabilities of the Mega CD, featuring insights from the sound staff. They emphasize the system's high-quality 8-channel PCM sound source, which is the same type used in commercial arcade machines, ensuring superior audio fidelity. The large capacity of Crodrom allows for greater variety in-game music composition, moving beyond repetitive loops. Game soundtracks can now feature richer arrangements, incorporate different styles, and provide longer, more impactful pieces, such as extended title screen music, truly enhancing the gaming experience. The screenshots show system interfaces, including a backup RAM management screen and game intros. The next page continues the End of Year special feature, diving deeper into the Mega CD's karaoke potential. It details how, with the dedicated karaoke unit accessory, the system becomes a versatile karaoke machine. Queuing up songs is made easy using the control pad, making it user-friendly. A key highlight is the Mega CD's support for the CD plus G format, which allows static images and lyrics to be displayed on the TV screen simultaneously with the audio. The article explains that CD plus G utilizes a small portion of the CD's data area to store this graphical information, making it perfect for karaoke. The page includes a diagram showing the simple connection setup involving the Mega CD, TV, stereo system, karaoke mixer/amplifier, and microphone. Furthermore, there's an interview with a representative from Victor Entertainment, a company actively involved in CD plus G karaoke. He discusses their catalog of CD plus G software, which features static visuals, and touches upon future developments like the CDEG standard. He emphasizes the importance of quickly releasing new popular songs and the role of information networks. The hope is that the Mega CD's entry into the market will encourage more gamers to enjoy karaoke. Screenshots illustrate the on-screen display of lyrics and background images from CD plus G discs, including examples like Love Is All, and potentially scenes from games like Valis 2i, demonstrating the visual capabilities alongside the music. Examples of CD plus G software covers are also shown, highlighting specific releases like Cancel 48 and 4. This page continues the End of Year special feature, focusing on the Mega CD's capabilities beyond just games, specifically its ability to play standard music creeds. The article delves into the surprising connections between popular music and the world of gaming, featuring an interview with a director from Toshiba Emi, who worked on Yuming's Yumi Matsutoya new album, Dawn Purple. The discussion highlights the extensive effort required to create both a music album and a video game, noting that crafting sounds for music is as demanding as game development. A key concept explored is virtual reality, suggesting that both music and games share the power to transport people to imaginative worlds and evoke deep feelings or memories. The interviewee points out that lyrics, like game worlds, can create a strong sense of reality for the listener. They speculate that with platforms like the Mega CD, the lines between music and games might increasingly blur. The new Yuming album itself is presented as highly imaginative, with themes like The Second Birthday and Real Reality, encouraging listeners to see the world differently or experience diverse scenes through the music. It's even mentioned that one track on the album was composed by a computer. This page kicks off a look at some key titles coming to the Mega CD, celebrating the launch of the system with 2 games from Wolf Team, the action title Ernest Evans, and the shooting game Solfis. The page features artwork of Ernest Evans himself and screenshots showcasing the gameplay of both titles, alongside a photo of someone playing on the new hardware. The article highlights the impressive achievement of having these games ready for the Mega CD launch, noting the hard work involved. It includes direct impressions from a writer and an editor. For Ernest Evans, they praise the visually interesting stage design and impressive animation processing, though they note that the character's multi-jointed movement, while realistic, might make controls feel a bit awkward and require getting used to. Solfis is described as a faithful port of the X68000 version, praised for its detailed graphics and challenging, almost maniac-oriented gameplay. The smooth movement of the enemy characters particularly stood out to the reviewers, suggesting it might be the game's strongest feature. Overall, the impressions suggest both games are significant early releases for the platform. This page introduces Wolf Team's third title for the Mega CD, the RPG known internationally as Phaelia, Spirit Goddess of the Century, set to be released in mid-January. While described as a generally orthodox RPG, the game incorporates unique systems not commonly seen, such as a blacksmith, where you can directly enhance equipment to increase attack and defense power. It also uses a multi-map system to represent different environmental conditions within the same location. For instance, a dark room becoming bright after interacting with an elf, adding dynamic elements. The page features a large screenshot of the game's world and highlights the impressive graphics from the opening demo, including images of a dragon and character art, noting it will feature narration, emphasizing the game's presentation. A smaller section on the left includes a map screenshot and commentary, likely related to the development or design of the game. This page continues the coverage of Phaelia, Spirit Goddess of the Century, focusing on the game's initial moments and setting the stage for the adventure. The story begins in the protagonist Leifel's hometown, a village called Cerudia. While originally planned as a prince, the final version sees Leifel as the son of the rural Alfred family, a lineage hinted to hold significant importance in the game. Early on, Princess Junail visits Leifel's home under the guise of offering solace, but the text suggests her true purpose is a secret investigation tied to the Alfred family, raising intrigue about their past. Screenshots show the interior of Leifel's house and dialogue exchanges. The page also details the simple village life, mentioning the only available shops are the inn and an item shop, essential resources early in the game. Visiting other villagers is encouraged, as they are acquaintances who offer insights and direction, including a neighbor who points the way forward. A sudden dramatic turn is highlighted, with a screenshot and text indicating a major event, likely a kidnapping, propelling Leifel into action. Finally, a section shows a blocked path, suggesting certain areas are inaccessible until later, a common RPG element guiding the player's progression. The next page delves into the immediate aftermath of the princess's abduction. It highlights the Cape Tower as the first major location Leifel must explore to rescue Princess Junair, situated north of Cerudia village. The exploration within the tower is described as straightforward, urging players to push towards the top floor, noting it's a good spot for gaining experience as stronger monsters don't roam the lower levels. Upon reaching the top, Junair is found, but a confrontation with the kidnappers quickly ensues, leading to the first combat encounters. Following the rescue, the narrative shifts to the fortress ruins. After the princess returns towards Atre Kano Castle with Terrafor, Leifel finds himself drawn to these ruins on his path. Entering the ancient structure, he stumbles upon an awkward scene. Terrafor, the princess's guardian knight, is discovered arguing with an armored warrior. It turns out, Terrafor has rescued Junair again here. He reveals that the princess's journey is linked to investigating the secret of the Holy Knight's ring. From this point, the adventure truly begins, with Leifel now traveling alongside Terrafor. The page hints at the next destination, the town of Ranifal, where significant developments regarding magical research and a key character's illness await, encouraging players to discover these events through gameplay. The next page dives into Nostalgia 1907, an adventure game on the Mega CD nearing its release. Presented as a super strategy guide, it emphasizes the importance of understanding the ship's layout and knowing where characters are located to successfully solve the mysteries that unfold. The page features a detailed map of the ship, the Nostalgia, illustrating its different decks from the Lark deck, 1F, to the High deck, 4F, highlighting areas like first and second class cabins, royal suites, the bar, game hall, and various crew areas. Screenshots showcase characters like Yamada Kasuke and the cabin attendant Fitz at the reception counter, offering a look at the game's visuals and some key personnel. The advice strongly suggests memorizing the ship's structure and keeping track of who is where, as this knowledge is essential for progression and figuring out the truth behind events. This page continues the deep dive into Nostalgia 1907, detailing the initial crisis and introducing key characters and locations crucial to the mystery. Action 1 describes how a bomb threat to the communication room arrived just as the engine room exploded, leaving the ship Nostalgia immobile and disabling all lifeboats, trapping everyone on board. Subsequently, the communication room is also bombed, cutting off all contact with the outside world and eliminating any hope of rescue. Action 2 focuses on significant areas and their occupants. Royal Suites A, the most luxurious cabin, is home to Robert Ashby, a British gentleman tied to the ship's insurance. His fate is linked to the ship sinking, making him a critical, albeit seemingly nonchalant, figure in the unfolding events. Royal Suite B houses Georges Black, a painter whose unpleasant demeanor has alienated everyone, suggesting players will need to gather information about him from other sources. The attendant rooms A, B, and C across from the suites house their staff. Room A is for Ashby's attendant, Olive Voyager, Room B is empty, and Room C is occupied by Black's secretary, Lucy Legrand. A vital plot point highlighted is Lucy's past romantic relationship with Detective Raymond Dunant, suggesting she holds key information. Screenshots showcase these different locations and character portraits, reinforcing the game's focus on interacting with the environment and its inhabitants, as hinted on the previous page. The Nostalgia's Crisis investigation takes players to several locations and introduces key figures. The captain in the crew meeting room tasks Kasuke with the investigation. Bar Hokusai, initially hosting the elusive Kilikov Kamelvich, offers little help regarding his disappearance. Kilikov resides in first-class cabin B, a Russian architect whose personality shifts when drinking, hinting at hidden secrets. First-class cabin C houses Tianon, a fortune-teller with a crystal ball and possible connections to the ship's fate, and is near another suspicious person. First-class cabin D contains Rumaranka, who seems aware of Tianyan's true identity and challenges Kasuke. The game emphasizes investigation through dialogue, and observing these suspicious characters to uncover the truth behind the ship's predicament. This page delves further into the passengers and development of Nostalgia 1907 on the Mega CD. It first describes the second-class cabins located at the ship's stern, noting that residents are divided into those cooperative with the protagonist, Kasuke, like Ilyusha and Old Man Carl, and those uncooperative, such as Dunant, as seen in screenshots of the hallway and promenade deck. Next, the page introduces other significant individuals on board, not previously detailed. This includes Stravinsky, a Russian composer found on the promenade deck, who is fleeing his homeland and holds secrets about the situation, initially proving difficult to get information from. His close companion, Chanel, the ship's singer, is highlighted as a potentially crucial witness to events in the latter half of the game. Screenshots show these characters in various locations, like the promenade deck and a hall. Finally, the developer, Shieldwave, discusses the production of Nostalgia 1907, emphasizing the challenges and excitement of working with the new Mega CD hardware. They detail utilizing the system's audio capabilities, including CDDA, PCM, and FM sound sources, for background music and sound effects, and especially the use of PCM sampling for voice acting. The developer also mentions the full character animations and the effort put into matching them with the voice acting, asking players to appreciate the dedication behind the game, as shown in screenshots of the Center Hall and Café de Ritz. This page features Heavy Nova, a near-future action game from Micronet, scheduled for release on December 12th for 6,800 yen on Crandrom. The article highlights the game's impressive character movement, made possible by the Mega CD hardware, declaring that its popularity is sure to explode upon release. The game features a one-player mode that starts with training school before moving into actual combat, where players aim to become a skilled Heavy Nova. It emphasizes that players cannot sense enemies in all directions, focusing on direct confrontation. A two-player mode is also featured prominently, described as intense fighting action, similar to Street Fighter. The page also showcases the Megacready's power through the game's visuals and sound. It praises the smooth opening animations and the multi-jointed character movements, comparing them to anime. The music is highlighted for utilizing the CD format with live sound, including vocals and cool guitar tracks. Screenshots display training menus, space scenes, and the two-player fighting gameplay. This page delves deeper into the fighting mechanics of Heavy Nova, specifically highlighting the wealth of techniques available to the Heavy Doll mechs. It emphasizes the importance of the game's versus modes, stating that victory in both the one-player boss battles and heated two-player matches hinges on mastering these diverse skills. The text stresses that memorizing spacing and timing is the path to success, and encourages players to practice extensively. The page displays a character selection screen, listing the moves for each player. It features a wide array of attacks including punches, kicks, throws, and even missile attacks, and a pile driver. Below this, numerous screenshots demonstrate various techniques in action, labeled with their names in Japanese. These include classic fighting game moves like uppercut, jab, body blow, high kick, jump kick, shoulder tackle, and throws like single arm throw and backdrop, alongside more unique attacks like hammer knuckle and zoom punch. The page notes that in two-player mode, usable techniques may vary depending on the opponent, and the IDAR character is considered easy to use. It also points out the impressive and painful-looking nature of the pile driver and Ken's vertical drill. This page covers the initial training and first boss encounter in Heavy Nova, Mission 11, which serves as the entry point into the game's combat system. The reviewer emphasizes that completing this stage is crucial before tackling real combat missions. The early part of the stage acts as a tutorial, introducing basic movement and enemy interaction. Players face simple walking small robots, which are easily defeated with a kick. The path ahead includes obstacles like beam pillars and landmines, dropped by flying units. Mastering dash and jump timings is key to avoiding these hazards, although failing a jump against a landmine is highlighted as particularly painful. The page details the specific enemies encountered. The aforementioned small robot, just a simple target. Landmines dropped by what might be an invincible flying unit, best avoided by jumping. And jump robots, fodder enemies that can be easily dispatched with a well-timed kick. The primary challenge of Mission 11 is the boss, the troll. Described as heavy in every sense, the troll's weight makes it immune to throws. However, this is also its weakness. The recommended strategy involves using jump kicks and close-range punches. Once you land hits, you can trap the troll in a continuous punch combo, leading to a relatively easy victory, despite its intimidating appearance. The page also warns that the troll's back-upper attack is quite damaging. Defeating the troll is essential to progress to the main campaign. This page continues the coverage of Heavy Nova, moving into Mission 12, the second training phase following the defeat of the troll. While described as not overly difficult, this stage serves to introduce further mechanics and enemy types before players face true combat missions. New hazards appear, including floating mines and flower-shaped iron balls, alongside familiar landmines and simple jump robots. The page details items players can acquire, specifically a level-up item to boost Idar's abilities and an energy item for recovery, both crucial for later stages. The main challenge here is the boss, Gallo. This humanoid robot is significantly faster and introduces close-quarters combat, requiring players to adapt their tactics. Keeping up with Gallo's movements is difficult, making the recommended approach a hit-and-way strategy. Defeating Gallo is presented as a significant step towards graduating from the training stages, unlocking a suite of new techniques like body blow, uppercut, shoulder tackle, single-arm throw, and double-arm throw, which are displayed on the screen. Additionally, the page features commentary from Micronet's development director, who passionately discusses the game's core design philosophy, particularly the emphasis on realistic and detailed robot movement, even considering factors like inertial weight. He also shares a personal anecdote about the challenges of adapting the game for the CD version. This page focuses on Lunar, the Silver Star, highlighting its unique battle system and introducing some early monsters. The article emphasizes the game's strategic combat, where allies and enemies are mixed on the battlefield, making positioning and action order important. It mentions the user-friendly AI support for your party, and offers full auto, semi-auto, and manual control options. The preview touches on the game's presentation, noting the action game-like battle screen layout, and praising the memorable background music, with the battle theme apparently revised 5 times to get it just right. The battle screenshot displayed shows the main characters, Arceus, Luna, and Ramus, fighting various enemies in a cave setting. The page also features a special section dedicated to the initial monsters encountered in the game. It presents several early foes like Desukarashin, a large evolved aquatic creature, Suraimi, a common jelly-like monster, Kurufurai and Magufurai, evolved flies known for group attacks or evolving intelligence, Bira, a parasitic bee relative with a powerful sting, Hirukimera, a shelled creature resistant to damage, Kame Kagaron, a large chameleon type using camouflage, and Kei Maamusu, an evolved field mouse with intelligence. Each monster entry includes 4 pixel sprites showing different poses or angles. This page continues the coverage of Lunar, the Silver Star, focusing on the game's extensive and well-presented item system. The article highlights that not only does the game feature a huge number of items, but critically, Every single item has unique pixel art displayed, a feature the reviewer considers groundbreaking for RPGs at the time, made possible by the large capacity of the Crydrom format. The game's inventory system is explained, detailing the distinction between a shared party bag, for common items used outside of battle, and individual character inventories, for items usable in combat. Several item examples are showcased with their pixel sprites and descriptions, categorized into weapons, armor, and usable items. Examples include the dagger, axe, sling, boomerang, claw, and longsword as weapons, traveler's clothes, bronze armor, jacket, wooden shield, shell armor, and bracelet as armor, and usable items like herbs, refreshing leaf, picnic lunch, lunchbox, spirit flute, soul whistle, purifying water, cleansing water, fairy wing, fairy feather, and firebomb, throwing ball. The page concludes with an illustration of the protagonist, Alex, referred to as Ars, in full battle gear, emphasizing how players will acquire various items throughout their journey to power him up and prepare him for adventure. This page introduces the key characters and a significant location in Lunar, the Silver Star. The top section focuses on the strong companions to travel with, providing profiles and pixel art for 8 main party members. We see Alex, the young hero; Luna, his childhood friend with a powerful singing voice; Null, the mysterious winged cat; Ramus, the merchant's son looking for treasure; Nash, the arrogant magic apprentice; Mia, the shy heir to the magic guild; Jessica, the tough daughter of the mayor; and Kyle, the bandit leader with a soft spot. The article highlights that a major draw of Lunar is the depth of its characters and their engaging interactions, noting how companions actively participate in conversations, unlike many other RPGs, which really makes their personalities shine. The bottom section introduces the flying magic city, Vane, the oldest city in Lunar's world, and the central hub for magic. It describes Vane as floating in the sky, accessible only to those who have passed a test. We see illustrations of its beautiful scenery and historic streets. Vane is home to the Magic Guild, led by Lemia, Mia's mother and one of the 4 heroes, and Galleon, another of the 4 heroes, as Prime Minister, showcasing the city's immense power and influence. It's also mentioned as a place where many magic students study, making it the heart of magical learning. This page gives us a behind-the-scenes look at the creation of Lunar, the Silver Star, featuring an interview with the core development team from GameArts and Studio Alex. Despite the game's release being delayed into the new year, the developers are clearly pushing hard, surrounded by the mountain of materials needed for this ambitious C-Drum RPG. We hear directly from scenario writer Shigema, GameArts president Miyagi, and producer Uesaka about the challenging but rewarding development process. They emphasize how much work went into making the characters truly stand out, with unique personalities, thanks to the writing and design efforts. A key point is the dynamic dialogue system, where conversations change based on the situation, a step beyond typical RPGs of the time. They also discuss the goal of creating a believable world where adults act realistically and people live naturally. The team utilized the MegaDrive's capabilities to implement fundamental RPG elements they couldn't before, giving the game a fresh feel. A beautiful in-game image is featured, showing the main cast overlooking a detailed city. The page concludes with a teaser for the next issue, promising a deep dive into Lunar's magic system, revealing over 60 unique spells, and detailing the game's 3-level AI battle system. Get ready, because the next issue sounds like it will bring us even closer to the magic. This page dives into the upcoming Sega CD strategy game from GameArts, Tenkabufu Ayutachi no Huka. With the release date set for December 25th, right at the end of the year, the focus here shifts to actually playing the game to confirm its mechanics ahead of launch. The article explains that after the title screen, players choose a scenario from a total of 4. They are starting with the 1555 scenario titled Gunyu Kakyo, which depicts a fragmented Japan. The game then takes you through the flow of events, including narration setting the historical background. A key aspect highlighted is the game's turn structure. Each turn represents a season and progresses through distinct phases: event, military politics, battle/siege, and save. The article emphasizes checking the event phase first, where various unpredictable occurrences like natural disasters happen. Screenshots show examples of these events, such as heavy snowblocking movement, a character's death, and a good harvest increasing income. The save phase is also mentioned as crucial, allowing players to save once per turn. Ultimately, The core gameplay where you issue commands happens in the military/politics and battle/siege phases. This hands-on look confirms the strategic depth and dynamic events players can expect. This page continues exploring Tenkabufu Ayutachi no Hukao on the Mega CD, diving into the crucial military and political phases after the unpredictable event phase. The reviewer highlights the extensive command options available, covering everything from troop movement and recruitment to internal affairs, diplomacy, and information gathering, noting the sheer volume can be overwhelming. Starting with the Oda clan in Owari province. The article discusses their strategic position, while having Saito-do-san as an ally provides some security to the north. Strong rivals like Imagawa Yoshimoto to the east and Ichijo Kanesada to the west pose significant threats. The reviewer recommends prioritizing military preparedness and strengthening defenses, specifically by improving castles. Screenshots demonstrate attempts at these actions. Trying to recruit soldiers shows a message indicating the maximum limit has already been reached. However, assigning a retainer like Ikeda Tsuneoki to handle internal affairs successfully increases a castle's durability, a key defensive improvement. The article also points out that the main map screen itself is packed with information, displaying details about provinces and armies numerically. A particularly useful feature highlighted is the cursor's color. Blue indicates your castle, red is an enemy castle, and green signifies an ally's castle, providing quick identification of territorial control before players choose to end their command phase and proceed. This page continues the guide for Tenkabufu Ayutachi no Hukao, focusing on the crucial military phase and preparing for offensive action after strengthening defenses. The large map shows the area around Owari province, depicting key castles and terrain. The guide explains the process of attacking an enemy, emphasizing the need to gather troops at a castle adjacent to the target before using the sortie command. It suggests Oda Nobunaga's target should be Mizuno Nobumoto, despite the presence of larger rivals like Imagawa Yoshimoto. Screenshots illustrate the game's interface, showing the map, command menus, like war and sortie, and a screen for selecting which armies, led by retainers such as Mori Yoshinari, Ikeda Tsuneoki, and Sasanari Masa, will participate in the battle. Nobunaga is depicted with confident speeches about leading his forces to victory. The content highlights the strategic step of moving armies to the staging castle using the move command during the political phase before the actual attack. The guide encourages players to assemble multiple armies for battle, especially when starting out, as it significantly increases their chances of success. This page continues the guide for Tenkabufu Ayutachi no Hukao, detailing the military phase. It starts by explaining how conflicts erupt across the map and the importance of choosing battles wisely. The guide advises targeting Mizuno Nobumoto early on to gain a victory and build momentum. Screenshots demonstrate the game's battle interface, showing units moving on a hex grid map and the clash of armies in a dynamic battle scene accompanied by a war cry. It highlights that winning battles isn't just about numbers. Morale and strategy are key. The page also offers advice on recruiting enemy generals to strengthen your forces, suggesting you identify capable enemy officers with low loyalty and assign highly loyal retainers to persuade them. Finally, a historical overview delves into how the real-life Oda Nobunaga consolidated power in Owari province. It recounts his early struggles, including dealing with internal strife and external threats, and how he gradually built his strength through strategic maneuvering and decisive actions, particularly highlighting the period around 1555. Character portraits of key figures like Oda Nobunaga and Shibata Katsue are featured alongside this historical context. This page features a preview of Wolf Team's highly anticipated RPG for the Mega CD, titled Ale Road, expected for release next spring. The developers are putting significant effort into this title, aiming for a lavish production befitting the Mega CD hardware. The article highlights the progress being made on graphical elements, like equipment and items, as well as the design of the main characters. A large illustration dominates the page, showcasing some of the game's characters, and a screenshot gives a glimpse of the battle system, which the article praises for its visual style matching the character designs by Masuki Haruhiko. A grid of character portraits reveals some of the potential party members, although the final lineup and count are still being determined, building anticipation. The page also introduces 4 key characters with illustrations and descriptions. Rol Eskris, a cheerful priest warrior. Lulu Kukinas, a magic-wielding female thief. Renicia Ares, a quiet yet fearless nun. And Arshel Growley, a kind-hearted swordsman. The development team is clearly excited about this project, promising detailed audio production as well, and will share more information as it becomes available. This page features a preview of the Sega Mega CD RPG, Wakusei Woodstock, Funky Horror Band, released on December 12 for 6,800 yen. The article highlights the game's use of lavish anime scenes and voice acting. It follows the story of 6 alien band members of FHB, Funky Horror Band, who crash land on a strange planet after getting lost in space during a performance warp. They are found by a local boy who takes them in. The page focuses on the game's opening anime sequence and the initial interactions in the first chapter. The unique characters, including members of Bibi, Claus, Bam, Karun, Mendes, and Wally, are introduced through screenshots and dialogue boxes. The reviewer notes the heavy use of voice acting during dialogue sequences, which is a key feature of the Mega CD. A particularly interesting part discussed is when one of the band members realizes they left their instrument on the crashed spaceship, leading to a new objective. The visuals are presented in a film strip-like format, showing various animated scenes and character portraits with text. This page continues the preview of the Sega Mega CD RPG, Wakusei Woodstock, Funky Horror Band. The article details the protagonist's initial attempts to leave the village, and being stopped because they don't know Senritsu, which is described as a type of magic essential for progression. The player must explore the village, interacting with residents, including the heroine Arisu, voiced by Kanai Mika, the elder, and the gatekeeper Sarai, to learn this vital skill. Screenshots show character portraits, the village map, and the gameplay menu. Once Senritsu is learned, the protagonist gains permission from the elder and Sarai to finally venture outside the village onto the world map, setting the stage for the adventure to come. The page also includes Mega CD overflow information, highlighting other upcoming titles. This section previews games like a compilation featuring Warao Salesman, the action title Musya Ninja Aleste, aiming for a spring release, and the adventure game Rise of the Dragon, a port from IBM PC, with significant additions for the Mega CD version. Screenshots show intense scenes from Rise of the Dragon, and a character and interior view from Magical Girl Silky Lip. It also briefly shows characters from other games, including Yu from the compilation, and Lara. The content suggests a diverse range of titles are in development for the Mega CD. This page is dedicated to revealing hidden secrets and useful tips for the action RPG Wonder Boy in Monster World. Presented as a collection of player-submitted tips, the page highlights various concealed locations and valuable items throughout the game. Tips cover finding hidden passages and treasure chests in diverse areas like the pyramid, underwater sections near the game's start, Lillipad Village, and the underground waterway. These secrets lead to powerful magic like shield and power, as well as essential heart containers, which are crucial for increasing your health. The page also details how to utilize the pygmy transformation to access narrow openings in areas like Lillipad Village and the pyramid to find further treasures. Each tip is accompanied by supporting screenshots showing the location of the secret or the reward received. The inclusion of player names, their location, and age for each submission adds a personal touch, reflecting the magazine's engagement with its readership. It's a great guide for players looking to fully explore Monster World and acquire all its hidden power-ups. This page covers secrets for 2 different games. The top section details the strategy game Advanced Daisen Ryaku Blitzkrieg in Germany, specifically outlining conditions needed to reach different endings depending on your performance in various scenarios. Achieving a perfect victory in maps like Operation Sea Lion, Caucasus, and French Africa is highlighted as a way to unlock an alternate historical outcome. A table shows how different results, perfect victory, victory, draw, on each map lead to different follow-up scenarios. Below that, the page returns to Wonder Boy in Monster World, offering more hidden tips. This time, the focus is on a secret area in the final castle. By taking a minecart, dismounting at a specific point, and entering a hidden passage, players can transform into a pygmy. This transformation is essential for accessing narrow gaps and finding further treasures or advancements within the late stages of the game. Screenshots illustrate the location of the hidden passage. There's also a small note about a password in the World Tour mode potentially yielding a strange message. This page highlights reader-submitted game tips. A Spider-Man shortcut bypasses an area in the first level's nightmare difficulty. Shin Onigashima offers bonus rooms in Acts 1, 2, and 4 via button presses, granting items. Pro Yaku Super League 91 has a glitch resetting the ball count during foul balls. Rent a Hero provides a one-time money exploit, instantly giving 10,000 gold when challenging specific NPCs with sufficient funds. El Viento includes pause menu commands like slow motion, screen panning, magic increase, and a color bar display. The page also announces the BeepMD Secret Technique League contest winners, ranking tips from Major League to Bush League, with prizes offered. Readers can submit their own tips via postcard. Tips from Mercs and Zero Wing are also mentioned. This page features the Video Game Club, showcasing new arcade machines and games. It introduces Slank's Neo Carnival, a crane game filled with plush toys, featuring classic characters like Astro Boy, Blackjack, and even Iron Man 28. The article notes the machine's adjustable difficulty settings, promising better chances to win prizes. Jaleco's Wonder Hunting is another crane game highlighted, specifically featuring cute Christmas-themed plush toys called the Christmas Family. A smaller version, Wonder Hunting Mini, is also available for narrower spaces. Moving into fighting games, the page covers Spenk's Fatal Fury, King of Fighters. This Neo Geo title is praised for its realistic character designs, which draw players in. The game lets you choose from Terry Bogard and D. Bogard or Joe Higashi to take on challenging bosses in each of the 8 stages, who are described as formidable masters of martial arts. The gameplay revolves around mastering each character's special moves to clear stages and engage in heated battles. Screenshots show the game's character select screen and intense in-game action. This page is dedicated to Capcom's arcade Beat 'em Up Captain Commando. Described as a serious fighting action game in the vein of Final Fight, it supports up to 4 players simultaneously. The article introduces the unique playable characters: Captain Commando himself, Shu the Ninja, Babyhead the Baby in a mech suit, and Mac the Mummy. It notes that each character has special moves, cautioning that using them depletes health. The game features 9 distinct stages, promising variety beyond just combat, with locations ranging from a museum and a ninja house to a circus camp and a jet boat segment. Combat offers a wide array of moves through button combinations, including continuous attacks, dashes, and grabs, with special moves and mastery leading to high damage. Players can also find helpful items like weapons and health recovery scattered throughout the stages, often hidden in destructible objects. This page delves into a fictional detective series titled Cyberpark, focusing on an adventure centered around a rare version of the arcade racing game, Rad Mobile SV. The synopsis continues the story of a private detective searching for a specific Rad Mobile SV machine, rumored to have a hidden 21st stage, accessible only on a particular date and time. The detective travels to Kisarazu City, Chiba, in heavy rain to visit an arcade called Kisarazu Eppo, located in the basement of a store targeting young adults. The page features a screenshot of Rad Mobile gameplay and several photos of the arcade's interior, showcasing various machines including Rad Mobile cabinets, prize games, and a carousel. There's also an investigation memo section introducing 4 young women who work at the arcade, noting their ages and shared hobby of karaoke. The narrative describes the poor weather and the detective's interaction with the arcade manager, adding atmosphere to the search for this elusive game cabinet. This page continues the Cyberpark narrative, detailing the detective's visit to the Kisarazu Eppo arcade. The arcade's design is described as a space park, with cyberpunk elements like metallic rocks, pink walls, and arches resembling spaceship gates, evoking imagery from the movie Total Recall. The text features photos of the arcade entrance and interior, showing various arcade machines including crane games. The manager explains the concept behind the arcade is aimed at young adults but attracts all generations, and they plan to introduce the latest experiential machines, fitting the Cyber Pavilion name. The story follows the detective and Adaki, who gets distracted by a campaign booth. The page also includes the Sega/Information Station and Sotokonda General Credit Detective Agency news sections, which cover reader mail, discussions about UFO catchers, and details about the Sega Sonic Hot campaign, mentioning prizes like Sonic mug cups, jigsaw puzzles, and key holders. This page reports on the Terra Summit event, held in Akihabara Daido Hall,
which also featured seminars. The event drew large crowds keen to see the Terra Drive and the impressive display of approximately 70 different game titles, primarily overseas IBM PC software like flight simulators and driving games. Visitors could also experience a graphics editor and attend seminars, focusing on software that allowed users to incorporate their own artwork, potentially sparking interest in game design. The highly anticipated Mega CD was also showcased. Featured prominently is the announcement of the release of Princess Maker for the PC 9800 series. This popular and luxurious character-raising simulation game, known for its depth and supporting VGA graphics and MIDI sound, drew significant attention at the summit, where pre-orders were also available. The page also highlights talked about IBM software and Japanese DA/Versus compatible games. Among the IBM titles is Wizardry, Bane of the Cosmic Forge, a new RPG entry adding 3D dungeon elements and revised combat and magic systems, notable for its mouse-centric gameplay. Also mentioned is Wing Commander, presented as a 3D space combat simulator featuring strategic depth. For DA/Versus games, Tanto Driver is a unique car simulator focusing on driving loop courses for a sense of realism and urgency, while the Battlefield tank simulation game offers tank combat with potential for versus play. These titles showcase the variety of simulation and RPG experiences available. This page delves into ways to enhance the gaming experience, starting with convenient peripherals. It highlights the importance of using a joystick for flight simulators on the IBM PC, noting the limitations of keyboard control. Connecting a joystick to the Terra system requires a game card in the expansion slot, though future peripherals from Sega are hinted at. Images show a monitor with a flight sim screenshot and a joystick connected to a system, alongside a different joystick model. There's also information on the TerraNet online service, promoting new communication software and encouraging user interaction. A prize draw is announced, offering Terra-themed phone cards featuring celebrity Yumiko Hashimoto. Participants can enter by sending postcards with opinions or original game puzzles. For gamers seeking hard-to-find titles, a shop introduction highlights a service in Akihabara called Taigen Trading that specializes in importing overseas software for systems like IBM PC, Amiga, and Genesis. They will search globally for requested games, offering a valuable resource for enthusiasts. Images depict shelves packed with software and the shop manager. Finally, news is provided about the upcoming Terra Summit Tour visiting various regions, starting in Sendai, featuring IBM game demonstrations in stores and potential Christmas bonuses. Support services for the Terra are also mentioned, including paid installation for expansion cards like Sound Blaster types and upgrades to the latest Terra model. An image shows the Terra system setup. This page features a review of the Game Gear title, Donald Duck's Lucky Dime, released in early 1992. It's highlighted as the second Disney character game from Sega, following Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse for the Genesis. Unlike Castle of Illusion, Lucky Dime is described as an original action game specifically designed for the Game Gear, not a direct port. The review notes that while Castle of Illusion focused more on avoiding enemies, Lucky Dime leans towards defeating them, requiring more technical skill and appealing more to experienced players. The story involves Donald's nephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, having their lucky dime stolen by a magician and crows, prompting Donald to embark on a quest to retrieve it. Donald is equipped with a mallet for combat, which can also be thrown like a boomerang or frisbee for ranged attacks. The game is structured across 7 stages, with examples shown for Canada, the USA, and South America, suggesting a globe-trotting adventure. An evaluation chart provides ratings, with controls and game balance both scoring 3.5, longevity at 4, and audio/visual presentation receiving the highest score of 4.5. The 1-point review concludes that while it may not have the same initial impact as Castle of Illusion, Lucky Dime is a solid, well-crafted action game. It's noted that despite some difficulty, it's suitable for players of all ages. This page features reviews for 2 Game Gear titles. First up is Frey in Magical Adventure, an action game starring Frey, a character originally from the popular Exoc RPG series. Due to her popularity, she's been given her own action spin-off. The game sees Frey become a magic user to help her love interest, Laytok. The review notes the graphics are cute, but the overall action isn't as engaging as it could be, feeling a bit incomplete, especially with the structure shifting from school lessons to battles. It features shops and 5 types of magic. Ratings hover around 3 out of 5 for controls, balance, and longevity, with graphics slightly higher at 3.5.
So that is Heavyweight Champ, G.G. A boxing simulation where you aim to become the world heavyweight champion by defeating 4 ranked opponents. The graphics are described as powerful, fitting the boxing theme, but the critical point highlighted is the poor controls, which are difficult to master, especially diagonal inputs needed for certain punches. The game allows you to improve your character. The review is quite negative about the gameplay mechanics, reflected in lower ratings for game balance, 2, and longevity, 2.5, while controls and AV aspects score 3 and 3.5 respectively. It's recommended only for players very confident in action games. This page features reviews for Game Gear titles, leading with the highly anticipated release of Sonic the Hedgehog. The reviewer was surprised by how effectively the high-speed action and overall feel of the Genesis version were ported to the Game Gear, praising it as potentially the best port on the system at the time. The game scores very well in the Diamond chart, with ratings of 4 or 4.5 across controls, AV aspect, game balance, and longevity. The review briefly covers the story involving Drive Eggman, and details how to reach the special stages by collecting 50 rings. Screenshots showcase several zones like Green Hill and Labyrinth, and a unique feature of the Game Gear version, an area map, is noted. Also reviewed is Phantasy Star Adventure, presented as a new command-style adventure game for the Game Gear set within the Phantasy Star universe. This side story features a new protagonist rather than the main characters from the RPG series. The reviewer expresses surprise at the genre change for the series, but is interested in this new direction, noting it utilizes the established world effectively. This page features a reader giveaway, offering a chance to win several exciting titles for the Mega Drive and Game Gear, alongside some merchandise. Up for grabs for Mega Drive players are copies of Legend of the Ninja, a strategic simulation game, and Exile, an action RPG. They're also giving away Heavy Nova, a fighting game for the Sega CD, and Quackshot starring Donald Duck, the platforming adventure. For Game Gear enthusiasts, you could win Aerial, a simulation game, or the impressive handheld port of Sonic the Hedgehog, which was highlighted in the previous issue. Beyond games, they're offering Dragon Quest vs. merchandise, including postcards and desk mats. The information section touches on the recent launch of the Mega CD, Sega CD, noting the initial slow pace of software releases but expressing optimism for more titles in the coming year, reflecting the industry's move towards CD-ROM media. The page concludes with a list of the magazine's staff. This page presents Ambition of Caesar 2, a real-time war simulation game for the Sega Mega Drive from Micronet. The page features striking artwork of Julius Caesar himself, alongside screenshots showcasing the strategic gameplay and menu interfaces. Key details highlighted include the game utilizing 8 megabits and supporting 2-player versus battles. It's also confirmed to feature battery backup for saving progress, essential for a simulation title. The page announces a planned release date in spring. Promotional text emphasizes that this sequel far surpasses the original game, promising enhanced visuals, music, and a grand, spectacular experience centered around ambition and glory. It positions the game as a full-fledged real-time strategy experience, inviting players to once again step into the shoes of the legendary leader. The page concludes with an exciting declaration that the game is here to surpass the previous emotional impact and make its triumphant return. This page showcases Heavy Nova, a fighting game from Micronet arriving for the Sega Mega CD. The page features prominent artwork of a detailed, imposing futuristic helmet or mech head, alongside screenshots showing intense one-on-one combat between robotic characters in various arenas. The headline exclaims, "Hot excitement! Can you become the universe's strongest warrior?" positioning the game as a high-stakes battle for supremacy. It confirms the game supports 2-player versus matches, a key feature for a fighting title. The price is listed as 6,800 yen, with a scheduled release date of December 1991. The accompanying text describes the core premise. Players must master the Heavy Doll fighting machines to earn the title Heavy Nova and become the universe's strongest warrior. The visuals highlight the game's futuristic setting and mechanical combatants, suggesting a focus on strategic robot battles. This page serves as an exciting announcement for fans looking forward to high-tech fighting action on the new Mega CD platform. This page is a bold advertisement for Devil Crash MD, the Japanese title for the incredible pinball game known globally as Dragon's Fury on the Sega Mega Drive. The central focus is the game's memorable title logo, paired with a truly striking piece of artwork. It features a human face, rendered with disturbing realism, wearing a bone-like, toothy helmet, complete with a single tear of blood falling from the eye, perfectly encapsulating the dark, gothic horror fantasy theme the game is renowned for. Large Japanese text below the title proudly proclaims the game is, or, highly acclaimed, now on sale, signaling its immediate availability and positive reception. The Technosoft logo confirms the developer behind this technical marvel. This is a simple yet effective announcement page, letting fans know the highly anticipated Devil Crash MD, or Dragon's Fury as you know it, is ready to be played on the Mega Drive. This page is a follow-up showcasing the dark and distinctive pinball action of Dragon's Fury, known as Devil Crash MD in Japan. Prominently featured are screenshots displaying the game's macabre tables, filled with skulls, demons, and occult symbols, setting the tone for its unique horror-themed pinball experience. The main focus here is the high score challenge campaign being held for the game. It promises special gold phone cards, featuring the same striking artwork seen previously, to the top 100 scorers each month. Additionally, all entrants had a chance to win other prizes, including an arcade stick. The page also lists winners from the high score contest, showing that many players were actively competing and mastering the game's challenging tables. This page confirms the game's price at 6,800 yen and highlights Technosoft as the developer, further solidifying its reputation as a must-have title for pinball fans on the Mega Drive, especially those who appreciate its intense, gothic aesthetic. This page heralds the exciting arrival of the Mega CD, known internationally as the Sega CD, promising a significant leap in interactive entertainment. The central visual is a striking, fragmented collage featuring surreal landscapes, bizarre frog-like creatures, and human eyes, hinting at the multimedia spectacle of the first software title for the new system. The spotlight is firmly on the inaugural game, Planet Woodstock Funky Horror Band, described as the first musical RPG unique to Creedrum. Players will search for the lost instruments of the titular band on a mysterious music planet. The page highlights the technical prowess of the Mega CD, boasting large capacity, 6 MB of buffer RAM, a high-speed pickup with an average access time of 0.8 seconds, and a 12.5 MHz, 68,000 CPU, promising a level of performance and content previously unseen on the console. This debut title is set to launch on December 12th with a standard retail price of 6,800 yen, aiming to showcase the capabilities that will make eyes and ears blown away. A clear reference to the enhanced visuals and CD quality audio. The page positions the Mega CD as the hyper-attachment for the Mega Drive, ready to deliver unprecedented gaming experiences built on the power of Claydrum.